game against teams. Has looked good so far for the Angels this spring. Well, his pitching opponent today, it's an interesting matchup because it's going to be Scott Kazmir. He's on the comeback trail after last year actually pitching in independent league baseball, and so far he's done a pretty good job trying to win a spot in the Indians rotation.
It has been the story here in Cleveland camp. Scott Kazmir's back. This is a guy with the Angels a few years ago really struggled with command issues, and I know that getting out of the game the last few years playing independent ball, he's been able to decompress that a little bit, work on his mechanics, and really just kind of find himself again. He's reinvented himself in Cleveland's camp this year, and as of now, it looks like he's competing for that number 5 spot in the rotation.
Kazmir will be making his first start for Cleveland. 4 scoreless innings in relief, and his control has been better. That was an area in his game that he really struggled with the Angels. Let's focus in more on the Angels right now, and Tim, let's shift to the catching position where Chris Iannetta clearly is the Angels' #1 catcher this spring, and he's been healthy and he's been solid for the Angels so far.
Well, he has, and it's another year under his belt with the Angels. He's much more comfortable than he was probably last spring, getting to know everybody, but this year he's kind of got to figure out the pitching staff again with 3 new additions with Blanton and Vargas and Hansen. He's still got a little bit of work to do, but there's no doubt it's made a difference in his comfort level, and he's swinging the bat well.
Well, the backup spot is certainly still up for grabs. It's a battle, it looks like, between Hank Conger and John Hester.
Well, it is, and I think as you look at those numbers right there, what really stands out is the hitting side of what Conger can bring you. And I know Soch would love to take Hank Conger with him back to Southern Cal because of that, because of his bat. You're looking at a guy that is going to get in there once or twice a week. He likes the left-handed option he has with him. But look at that big glaring number 4 errors there. That is something that Soch will not have. He just cannot take that. And that's one of the areas that Hank Conger's has got to really work on is his defense.
Conger had a home run for the Angels yesterday against Kansas City, but also 3 throwing errors. One guy who always seems to excel in spring training, maybe he might hope that it never ends, is Howie Kendrick.
Howie always hits well in spring. My theory on that is he sees a lot more fastballs in spring training than we'll see during the regular course of the season. Howie needs to really work on hitting that off-speed pitch. I mean, this is the time you need to work on that, because during the course of the season, that's the pitch that the scouting reports say can get him out with. So how he's going to hit, everybody's talking about, is he going to hit in the 2-hole or the 7-hole? Wherever he hits, he needs to be put in a position where he can see a lot of fastballs.
Howie today will hit in the number 5 hole. He's certainly in a mix as far as other Angel players for that number 2 spot. Ibar, Callaspo is going to be there today, and Kendrick right now are the 2 guys the Angels, the 3 guys really, the Angels are figuring will have a shot to win that number 2 spot. Howie Kendrick, very good this spring, as we mentioned, and hopefully it's going to translate into the regular season.
Yeah, you hope it does, because he can swing the bat, and I'd like to see him hitting that 2-hole just because he's had Pujols behind him. But the big question mark's going to be is, can he be patient enough with Mike Trout in front of him stealing bases?
When we get back, we're going to have a little pinch hitter as far as our broadcaster today with Tim Semin, and old friend Darren Sutton will be pinch hitting on the broadcast. It's the Angels and the Cleveland Indians. It's coming up next from Goodyear right here on Fox Sports West.
Welcome back to Goodyear Ballpark, everyone. Ken French with you on this incredible day in Arizona, getting you ready for the Cactus League matchup between the Angels and Indians. But before we send it up to the broadcast booth, it's time to get you ready for this one with today's starting lineup. So we're going to start with the visiting Angels, and leading off this afternoon and playing center field will be Peter Borges. Batting second, playing third base will be Alberto Callaspo. In right field this afternoon, hitting over 300 with 1 home run this spring, Josh Hamilton. Doing the cleanup hitting, Mark Trumbo when he'll play first base. Howie Kendrick, the hottest hitting Angel, hitting 500 this spring. He'll play second and bat fifth. Vernon Wells will be in left. He had a 2-run homer yesterday. Cole Calhoun, he'll bat in the 7th spot. He'll be the DH, and he hit a 2-run homer on Saturday. Chris Iannetta, he'll do the catching. He'll be in the 8th spot, and Andrew Romine will be at shortstop and bat 9th. And on the mound for your Angels this afternoon will be Jared Weaver, making his 3rd start of the spring. Now for the home team, Indians, leading off will be Michael Bourne playing center field. In left will be Michael Brantley. He's in the 2 spot. Second baseman Jason Kipnis will bat 3rd. Nick Swisher, one of the biggest free agent acquisitions of the Indians. He's batting 500 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. He'll play first base, and he'll be the cleanup hitter. Jason Giambi, former teammate in New York, he'll be the DH. Lonnie Chisenhall will be the 3rd baseman, and he'll bat 6th. Drew Stubbs will be in right field, and he's batting 7th. Lou Marson will be the catcher, and he is in the 8th spot. And your shortstop this afternoon for the Cleveland Indians and batting 9th will be Juan Diaz. Now let's send it up to the broadcast booth this afternoon on this incredible day. And pinch hitting for Terry Smith, here's Darren Sutton and former Angel great Tim Salmon.
Alongside Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton, honored to be talking baseball with all of you on a gorgeous picture postcard day. 70 degrees here in Goodyear, Arizona. Scott Kazmir, mentioned a moment ago, left-hander trying to resurrect his career as completing his warm-up tosses. A career that had him journeying through Anaheim, many of you remember, and struggling as an Angel. A career that began as a Mets draft pick, had some good years with Tampa Bay, the left-hander. When you talk with these Cleveland Indians, as of right now, if they were to break camp, he would be a great story for Indians fans because he would be in the number 5 spot. Of course, Jared Weaver is on the mound for the Angels. And the first 3 for the Angels, Peter Borges, Alberto Callaspo, and Josh Hamilton. Just really glad you're here today. Borges showing this spring that he can hit out of the gates. You see what he did, 220 last year. If you're watching closely and following Borges, it's Gold Glove defense that he brings to the center field position. And Borges, a local product out of Notre Dame Prep. A lot of folks locally pulling for him to hit enough to earn the everyday spot in that Angels outfield. Infield playing in on the corners, Lonnie Chisenhall, Nick Swisher will respect the bunt ability of Borges out of the gates. Outfield very shallow. And we're ready to play baseball again. Tim and I glad to have you with us. Pinch hitting for Terry Smith today. First pitch is a fastball that dives down and away. 1-0 the count to Peter Borges.
You know, Darren, one of the things that I kind of heard around this press box today talking about Scott Kazmir is that his fastball is actually up there, thrown in the low 90s, and that's a great sign for a guy coming back. It's not just so much that he's throwing strikes, but he still has some of the velocity back. He
fires a fastball to even it at 1-1, goes right back to work, inside, missing low.
You recall back in the days, his glory days in Tampa Bay, I mean, he had an electric fastball and a great slider. This guy was one of the best lefties in the game.
A little bit low, down below the knees with another fastball, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Kazmir. Yeah, maybe not pitching a lot for about a year and a half helped get some strength back in that arm. He did battle injuries as he fires a fastball over the outside corner, and the count is 3-2.
Well, one of the interesting things that he did the last couple years playing independent ball was the fact that he didn't want to sign with an organization. He just wanted to go out there and figure it out and not be connected to any organization or any pitching coaches.
Borges with a pitch coming home, chops it right back to the mound. Kazmir reaches out, first base side, gloves it, and fires in time for the out, getting and erasing the speedy Peter Borges. So he dug himself out of a 3-1 hole. Borges dealt with a pitch down and away, tried to use the big part of the ballpark, but on the ground, and right there to make a nice play was Kazmir. Alberto Callaspo in the second spot today, the Angels' third baseman, and again the infield in at third, a step or two on the cut of the grass, Chisenhall, and the fastball misses high and inside. 1-0 the count to Callaspo. 4 for 18 this spring for Alberto. Can really play anywhere on the field, and that's a good thing for Mike Scioscia as he takes a fastball that nips the inside corner.
He has been such a valuable part of this lineup and really the defensive placement for Scioscia, being able to mix in and out at second and short and versatile all the way up and down the lineup.
Fastball misses inside. It's been all fastballs so far from the left-hander Kazmir, who, as Tim mentioned a moment ago, pitched independent league baseball, Sugar Land, Texas last year in the Atlantic League. As he deals the 2-1 fly ball right field. Drew Stubbs a couple of steps back, looking into that sunshine. An easy chance for the right fielder. So 2 up and 2 down against Kazmir off the Angels' bats. And a loud welcome for Josh Hamilton, popular in any Cactus League ballpark, digging into the left side of the batter's box. The Angel shocking free agent signee, having a fine spring, 5 of 16 with a homer. And I think the key, Tim Salmon, is he takes a fastball over the outside corner for strike one. As you get a little bit older, spring training's about staying and getting healthy and strong. Well,
for sure. And this is a guy that knows what it takes to get ready, and he knows what kind of at-bats he needs. And as of today, he was going to be DH and coming into the game and late scratch and put him in right field. He's recognized that I need to get back out there and play. Yesterday he made an error in the field. Ball skipped away from him. Just kind of feeling maybe I just need to be out there a little bit more.
He's in the hole 0-2. He chases a high fastball up and out of the zone. Had fouled off the pitch before. 1-2-3 go the Angels. We move along to the bottom half of the first inning. Angels and Indians here on a beautiful day at Goodyear Ballpark. Glad to have you with us on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. It is a beautiful day for fans and certainly players alike. Angels fans have made their way from Southern California, and Goodyear's a little bit closer than Phoenix, and they're going to see Jared Weaver work on the mound. Certainly they picked a great day to come, those Angels fans, a year in which he missed a couple of starts only based on injury last year. The 30-year-old right-hander out of Simi Valley High School in Cal State Long Beach, a 20-game winner a season ago, 20-5 with a 2.81 ERA, finishing third in the Cy Young voting. Matter of fact, for Weaver, he's gone 5th, 2nd, and 3rd in the Cy Young voting over the last 3 years. He faces Michael Bourne to lead things off, the speedy late signee for the Cleveland Indians, and I mean very late. February 15th, he signed on. Weaver rocks and fires and goes to work, nips the outside corner with a fastball. 0-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Michael Bourne.
Well, these Cleveland Indians are definitely going to have a different look to them this year. They have a lot more speed at the top of the lineup.
Bourne will use that speed. The fastball is on the inner part of the plate. He rockets it into right field for a base hit, so Michael Bourne is on. This spring, he is now 5 for 25.
You know, this will be an interesting situation for Weaver. That's one thing I've noticed over the last couple years in spring training. You know, he's focusing on getting his release point out there and locating those pitches in and out. And in a couple situations when he's had a speedy guy on first base, it can kind of rattle him a little bit, trying to get back into the rhythm of holding the guy and keeping that guy close.
And it's something he prides himself on. Weaver, an athlete, an all-around athlete as a pitcher last year. 17 stolen base attempts, 9 were successful. That means 47% were thrown out. So don't you know, as you said, Tim, this is a great time to work on what he hopes to do during the regular season.
Well, that's what spring is all about. Everybody, in some ways, would like to have a nice clean inning and just go out there and hit your spots. But ultimately, you need to have those innings where they stress you and you get into some real season game-like situations to work on different aspects of your game.
Already one throw over to first. Michael Brantley in the left-handed batter's box digs in. And he lines it into right field. A sinking line drive in front of Cole Calhoun. Check that. That's Josh Hamilton out there. They made the swap at the last moment. Calhoun now the DH. So Hamilton, with a couple of base runners on, fires it back in. The Indians with runners on first and second against Weaver with nobody out.
You almost get the sense that it's a mid-season game right here, and they're saying, don't get to that curveball. If you see any fastball, if you can get some wood on it, take a swing at it, because Weaver gets really tough as he gets deeper into the counts.
Jason Kipnis, another left-handed hitter. Outfield play straight, and he has played to pull in the infield a step or two. And there is a leadoff first pitch curveball that is bunted foul around home plate, so the runners will return to first and second. Terry Francona, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, after spending a year away from the game, working on the television side with ESPN, has Kipnis bunting there, playing a little bit of little ball. And the count is 0-1. Bottom of the first, scoreless ball game. Angels and Indians here in Goodyear. Darren Sutton, Tim Salmon, glad to have you with us. 0-1, high fly right side. Hamilton will look into that sun. Bourne will head to second, tag, but it's just a bluff, and he makes the play for the out. Hamilton rockets it back into Howie Kendall. So Kipnis flies out to right field, one away. That
was an interesting situation there. I was waiting to see if Bourne was going to tag up and test Hamilton's arm. He's got a tremendous arm, and as much as I've heard about Bourne and his speed, I am a little surprised that he wasn't thinking about it there.
Yeah, to say it was a bluff, I was even kind of extending the truth a bit, because he kind of just stepped on the bag and didn't move.
Oh, he didn't. And Hamilton was actually back there pretty good. If it was Mike Trout or Peter Borges, I have to think they might, with their speed, they might have been challenging that arm a little bit.
Well, more fun for Mr. Weaver as he faces lefty after lefty. The fourth in a row is Nick Swisher. Another big splash for the Indians of the free agent variety this winter. Longtime Yankee, and a White Sox before that. And the first pitch to Swisher is a breaking ball inside corner, strike one.
Yeah, you can see Weaver right now breaking out that curveball early here in the first inning, recognizing that he's not going to let these guys ambush him.
Weaver sported a 2.81 ERA last year in that run for the Cy Young as the fastball misses up and inside to even the count at 1-1. Swisher last year as a Yankee, 24 home runs, 93 RBIs. Slugged close to 500 and had a respectable on base of over 360. Diving down and away, a fastball, and the count is 1-2. Boy, did that have a lot of life on it.
Hit a two-seamer. That's good movement.
And he swings and misses, does Swisher.
Yeah, just kind of dropped right out of the zone on him there. Swisher's a nice addition for this Cleveland club. But, you know, anytime a team loses, 90 games or whatever, you got to change things up. You got to bring some life into the clubhouse. Terry Francona's obviously a nice injection in that department, but he knew he needed a guy that could be a veteran in that clubhouse and keep things loose and kind of lead the way. It's a whole different season for this Indian clubhouse.
Jarrett deals a 1-2 fastball, and it misses high to Swisher, so the count 2-2 now. Runners on first and second for the Indians. One away, scoreless ball game. Angels in the Tribe. Bottom of the first inning here in Goodyear. Fastball inside corner, strike three, and he gets Nick Swisher looking. Swisher takes a long look at Jonathan Sapphire, home plate umpire, before walking away. But some of the soft stuff from Weaver allowed him to open up that inside corner with a blazing fastball.
Well, it sure did. And that's one of Weaver's best pitches right there, is that little two-seamer that comes back on the front shoulder of a lefty. They give up on it thinking it's inside, and it comes back over the plate, and they're usually left there holding the bat. That's a signature pitch from Jared Weaver right there.
And the big shift is on now for the Angels defensively. Howie Kendrick is almost in shallow right field like a rover in softball, because veteran and pull hitter Jason Giambi digs into the batter's box, another left-handed slugger. And the first pitch to Jason is a fastball, belt high, strike one.
Jason looked back a little bit. That ball is at the top of the zone. I would agree, as a hitter, I wouldn't want that one called a strike, but these umpires nowadays with the Quest Tech and all that, and the strike zones have changed a little bit, especially that upper strike.
Little cut fastball dives down and into Giambi.
And now Jared's looking at him. Where was that one? So now we're even. They both got a pitch in their favor.
A couple of veterans of the game, a couple of Southern California kids doing battle here in Goodyear, Arizona. Giambi, of course, 42 years old. Now South Hills High School. Went to Long Beach State as well. Swing and a miss right through it.
Yeah, both of them Long Beach State products. A few years in between, though. Jason's going on, what, 19 years?
Jason
in the big leagues?
He is going on that long with,
my goodness,
429 career home runs and more than 1,400 RBIs. 1-2 the count, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Weaver from the stretch deals the 1-2. Swing and a miss, pulled the string on him, and down goes Giambi. Mid-season form for Jared Weaver. In a bit of a bind, got himself right out of it with his craftiness, the veteran right-hander. We played one. We are scoreless. Indians and Angels. No score on the Angels Baseball Network and on Fox Sports West. Move along to the second inning, a scoreless ball game. Mark Trumbo set to lead it off. Trumbo followed by Howie Kendrick, then Vernon Wells. Left-hander Scott Kazmir here in the top of the second, his second inning of work, as he fires a fastball over the inside corner, strike one. Power of the lineup brought to you by Loan Mart. If you need cash fast, if you have a car that's paid off or almost paid off, get $2,500 to $50,000 today with a quick and easy car title loan. Call 1-800-LOAN-MARK today. Our power man is Trumbo, and that's a good choice as he takes inside. And the count evens up at 1-1. Villa Park High School, a stone's throw from the Big A. 27 years old, coming off a 32 home run season. And the fastball from the left-hander Kazmir misses outside into the other batter's box. 2-1 the count.
Trumbo's hitting in Pujols' spot today. Albert given the day off after hitting his second home run in consecutive days yesterday.
Trumbo breaks his bat, hits it to the right side. It's dying, but it's hugging the line, and it's down there. And it's in there for a broken bat Texas League single. And the bat, kind of happy death there. When you break a bat and you get a knock, Tim, that's a good thing.
It all evens out, especially for a guy. Well, it actually doesn't even out for a guy like Trumbo. He hits so many balls right on the screws, and he gets... It does not even out in the ledger for him. Too many lineouts and not enough broken bats. So that's a nice one to see for him.
It was just a fastball up and away. He was just trying to put bat on baseball, and he that time was rewarded. Holding the bat high, here is Howie Kendrick, and Howie takes inside and off the plate with a fastball. 1-0 the count.
You know, so much is made about Kazmir and his comeback. His outings to this point have been pretty clean, so it's going to be interesting to see if the Angels can put any pressure on him, and you know, for Francona and his staff to see how he pitches in different game-like situations with runners on base.
High chopper to third base side. Chisenhall fires to second. There's one on to first. There's a double play. It goes Chisenhall to Kipnis to Nick Swisher. Well, they started to lean him up against the wall, and a ground ball gets him right out of it. And a fine turn, a hard slide over there by Trumbo. Nice turn by Kipnis, the Arizona State product at second base.
Double play is a pitcher's friend.
And when Kazmir is right, we're seeing it today, the left-hander with that sinking action on the fastball, he is on the ground. Yeah, Weaver's different. He's in the air when he's right.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing I've noticed about Kazmir, he's really throwing the ball inside and outside, not really making too many pitches out over the middle of the plate.
Vernon Wells takes inside, 1-0 the count. Tim, the other thing I've noticed, and our folks at home, is almost exclusively fastballs to this point, maybe one or two off-speed pitches. That fastball is blown right by him. 1-1 the count to Vernon.
No, that's a great sign right there as a pitcher when you can throw that 1-0 fastball right down the middle and you throw it by your hitter. What a great count to be hitting as a hitter, and if you're looking to swing at a fastball, you should be ahead of that one, but goes to show Kazmir still has some life.
Vernon fouls that one back to the screen on a fastball down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Darren Sutton, Tim Salmon from Goodyear Ballpark here in Arizona. Top of the second inning. Scoreless ball game, Angels and Indians. I'm honored to be sitting in for Terry Smith today, who is battling a sore throat, trying to get his voice back. We'll get him back to A form here in the next day or two. Swing and a miss, chases a fastball. Wells fires that bat and helmet down at home plate. It started with a single from Trumbo, then a double play, and a couple of fastballs by Vernon Wells, and that was it for the veteran left-hander on a comeback. To the bottom half of inning number 2 we go. The Angels and Indians in a scoreless ball game on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. the baseball's certainly working for both of these pitchers today, and Angels fans are enjoying a couple of pitchers, a former Angel and a current Angel, and Jared Weaver doing battle. We move along to the bottom half of the second inning, scoreless ball game, Cactus League baseball. And if we haven't told you already, as Lonnie Chisenhall swings and misses at a high fastball. The cold that was in Arizona is long gone. You sent it from Southern California. The warmth, we appreciate it. It's a beautiful, beautiful Cactus League kind of day, about 72 degrees, as the fastball is inside. 1-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Lonnie Chisenhall.
He's going to start climbing into the mid-80s by the weekend, next weekend. So summer is coming upon us here in Arizona.
The 1-1 to Chisenhall, swing and a miss, pulled the string back on him, slow breaking ball, 1-2.
That was a great changeup right there. Great changeup.
So much whip, so much action from Weaver as a hitter in the batter's box, as the 1-2 pitch, breaking ball down and in. He appeals down to third. He did not go around. Home plate umpire checking on that one. Alan Bailey saying that Chisenhall held up.
He held up. Well, Weaver throws across his body. He's got that arm angle, and even this spring he's been working on dropping that arm angle a little bit, maybe a little bit more three-quarter, where he's more comfortable with it.
Throws him a high change up there. It's fouled into the catcher's mitt, and down goes Chisenhall on strike three. Got away with the high change up, but the deception was enough.
Yeah, I think Weaver's going to start working a little backwards right here on this team after the first couple innings. He's a veteran. He's been around. He's not going to let him ambush him getting on that first fastball. So if he can come around an inning or two with some off-speed pitches and get guys kind of off that fastball, I think you'll see him settle in and start pitching a little bit more backwards with that fastball later in the count.
First pitch to the athletic Drew Stubbs, right-handed hitter. Thank goodness, says Weaver, a right-handed hitter. The first one that we have seen misses up and in. 1-0 the count. Quickly back with a 1-0, fires high and inside. 2-0 the count to Stubbs, and he is a bit of a high-wire act statistically. This is a guy that will steal a bunch of bases, 30 last year. Batting average usually stays low, can hit more than 20 home runs, and can strike out, and has more than 200 times in a season. But is a very gifted athlete as he deals with a 2-0 pitch. It's high and inside, 3-0.
Now, this is something for Jared Weaver that you see happen in spring. He just got done facing the last couple hitters throwing that off-speed pitch, and you get that release point down on that off-speed pitch, and all of a sudden now you're trying to throw the fastball, and he's kind of lost it. And that's typical for this time of year, and that's something that he's going to recognize I got to start making the adjustments on.
Pours it right down the middle for strike one. 3-1 the count. Stubbs stands in the back of the batter's box, looks at a defense that is straight up for him. Angels in their road reds and their gray pants. As that fastball is inside, he lost him. It's a walk to Stubbs.
Pretty good fastball right there. That could have been called a strike. You know, interestingly on Drew Stubbs, you talk about when he came over here, he thought he was going to be competing with Brantley for the center field job, and they thought there was going to be a two-man little race there for it, and then all of a sudden they went out and signed Michael Bourne, and that settled the deal right there.
And now you find yourself trying to earn a spot as a utility man, and to fit in. Again, his athleticism, I think, will help him earn that spot.
Well, I believe he'll be in right field. Nick Swisher's probably going to be working in that DH spot a little bit first base as well. And much like Socha's lineup, he has Terry Francona has a lot of moving parts. He has a lot of options to keep guys rested and sharp. You know, going with the matchups, he can go lefties, righties. So you don't really have those names anchored out there in right field at first base in the DH spot. You know, you can move guys around.
Lou Marson is the hitter. The first pitch to the catcher is high and inside. 1-0 the count. And that, for a moment, set Chris Iannetta to have a conversation with Jared Weaver, who, again, I think we need to remind you, faced 6 lefties in a row and is kind of trying to find that release point with right-handed hitters. And honestly, even in the big leagues, that can be very common.
Well, especially early in spring, like we said. This is his 4th start. He's going to be looking to get maybe 50 pitches out of him and maybe go 4 innings. But it's very typical, and that's what makes spring training so good, and why you don't want just clean slates. You want to be able to work into some different situations and grind it out, and then it makes those days in between your next start. It gives you something that you know to work on, and lets you know what you need to do differently to next time you get in the game.
Trumbo holds Stubbs at first. Weaver certainly wary of his speed as the fastball nips the outside corner. 1-1 the count to the catcher Marson, and now Carlos Santana the usual starting catcher for these Cleveland Indians and a dangerous slugger representing the Dominican Republic in the WBC.
Carlos is going to be catching quite a bit more this year with the additions of Swisher.
Runner is on the move, pitches in the dirt, throw down, stolen base. Stole that one on the pitch of that time, Weaver, because he had a huge jump. Nothing really that Iannetta could have done. Stubbs again stole 30 bases last year. He's now on second in scoring position.
I mentioned it in the last frame about the fact that this Indians team is going to look a lot different with Stubbs and Bourne, and boy, you get them on base, it's a double every time with their ability to steal bases.
And an RBI opportunity for the veteran backup Marson. Runner at second, Weaver from the stretch, a check swing chopper up the first base line, but it trickles foul over towards that first base coach's box. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to count, 1 out, scoreless ball game, Angels and Indians. We're in the bottom half of inning number 2 here at Goodyear Ballpark. On the west side of Phoenix, if you will. I mean the way
far west side. Isn't it considered East LA out here?
Well, I can reach out and touch the California border right here from the booth.
Riverside, I think I can see Riverside from here.
2-2 the count. They keep an eye again on the runner at second. Fouled back, hung a breaking ball up there and got away with it. We'll do it again, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, another name we haven't mentioned as far as the speed the Indians have this year is Kipnis. He had 31 bags as well. So they have 3 guys, maybe 4 guys with the ability to really steal some bases and really change the complexion of this offense.
Talented Angels outfield plays to the opposite field for Marson, and the pitch. High fly ball right into that defense, though it's back of second base. Gold Glove candidate Borges comes on in. He calls off Howie Kendrick. And the center fielder makes the play for the out just behind the second base spot. So they had him defensed perfectly. And Weaver made his pitches into the defense. Asdrubal Cabrera is the gifted Indian shortstop, which means he's probably working elsewhere. And he is for Venezuela in the WBC. That means Juan Diaz has an opportunity. Juan's having a nice spring. 13 home runs last year in the minor leagues while hitting .266. This spring, 6 of 19. 24-year-old young man out of the Dominican Republic. It's fun, Tim, and for all of our listeners and viewers, having a chance to see these pitchers make their pitches like veterans and get out of jams. They've both had their back against the wall. And he deals to Diaz, left-handed hitter, takes outside from Weaver. 1-0 the count. Michael Bourne waits on deck. 6'7" 210-pound Weaver. Under that new spring training look, batting practice cap with the blue brim and the red Angels look on the rest of the cap. Buries a fastball outside, swung on and missed.
He's got good movement on that fastball on the other side of the plate to the lefties. Good 2-seam action.
A 2-seamer thrown along the seams, and for Weaver with that lower arm angle. 4-seamer, of course, you get more of a straight, true flight. That's what the outfielders and infielders use. 2-seamer, you get a dive away from the left-handed hitter, as we see there. Off speed, misses high and away. 2-1 the count. Weaver and some umpires in the stands wanted that to be called a strike as well.
It was a little outside. It was that backdoor curveball, and it might have been caught just on the corner, but that doesn't mean it curved over the plate. Come on.
Well, you really are a hitter up here in that seat. The 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Pulled the string back on him. 2-2 the count.
Great changeup. He has him so set up for that 2-seam fastball inside that comes back. That's what makes Weaver so effective, is like we've been mentioning. He throws across his body. He's got the deception working, but his secondary pitches are amazing. His ability to throw that changeup and the curveball in the zone where he wants to is really what sets up those great fastballs.
Swing and a miss. That's what you're talking about. Goes right over the top of an off-speed pitch. There was a runner in scoring position. The veteran ace worked right out of it. So we have played 2 here at Goodyear. The Angels nothing, the Indians nothing on the Angels Baseball Network and on Fox Sports West. The 20-game flex plan presented by Farmer John. It's a great way to see Angels baseball. Select the 20 games you want to see. Receive a ticket to Fan Appreciation Day for free. Buy your flex plan today at angels.com/mini-plans or by calling 888-796-HALO. 888-796-HALO. To the top of the third inning we go with Cole Calhoun leading it off. And the fastball from Casimir is swung on and missed. Calhoun in the left-handed batter's box, the former Arizona State product, in the hole 0-1. 14 home runs last year in AAA Salt Lake. Just a tick under a 300 batting average. And he fouls that one back to the screen. The count, no balls and 2 strikes. That will back Chisenhall up at third. He was cheating in on the cut of the grass just in case Calhoun, who has good speed, would drop down a bunt.
Well, don't let Calhoun's slight stature mistake you for not being a power hitter. This guy has some pop.
0-2, overthrew a breaking ball.
One of the things I've liked about Cole is the fact that he stays in there with lefties. I mean, this is a guy that he didn't back down. He's a good hitter against righty or lefty. Soch has been giving him some opportunities against some lefties as well, and just to kind of see it for himself, Cole hangs in there pretty good.
Takes outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Cole Calhoun. It's all about that right shoulder for a left-handed hitter, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. He stays in there. A couple games ago, he took one up and in and almost hit him in that right shoulder. And next pitch fastball on the outer half, he drove it to left center.
2-2, swings right over the top of a breaking ball. Just got a piece of it. But hanging on, the catcher Lou Marsan hasn't thrown too many secondary pitches. He threw one there.
He stayed on that pitch as well. He wasn't pulling off it. Just good curveball. One of the things I notice about Casimir right now is just how fluid he looks. He doesn't look like there's anything in his motion that's herky-jerky or off-kilter like it was his last go-around with the Angels.
1-0 the count to the catcher Chris Iannetta as that pitch misses up and away. The smooth motion of Casimir that Tim is talking about has a little bit more giddy up on his fastball as well as he deals, and it's hit hard on the ground past the diving shortstop Juan Diaz and into center field. He went a couple of steps to his left, but Iannetta hit it hard, and for Chris Iannetta, having a great spring. He has 8 hits now and 20 at-bats.
He's having a very good spring. This is his second year with the team, and last year was a little bit stressful for him, I have to imagine, trying to come into a new club and make those first impressions, and then at the same time getting to know a whole new pitching staff. There's a lot of pressure on him, and I know a couple of the games early in spring last year, a lot of shaking with between him and the pitcher on the mound, and this year he's got to be feeling a lot more comfortable.
From the left-handed batter's box, Andrew Romine swings and misses, and the count 0-1, lefty against lefty here. Scoreless ball game. We're in the top of the third inning, 0-1 the count. Chisenhall is in at third, right there on the cut of the grass. Outfield is shallow. And the 0-1, good fastball, but it misses off the plate. 1-1 the count.
Andrew Romine was one of the players that you often hear about, the switch hitters that get to a point in their career where they say, you know, it's just not worth trying to keep both swings intact, and he's just gone from the left side. This might be one of those at-bats where he wishes he was still hitting right-handed, though.
Fastball is high, 2-1 the count. Eric Ibar, of course, representing the Angels family and representing the Dominican Republic. And doing a great job. So shortstop, a position where players can show themselves, like Romine, who has a leg up on that super utility job for the Angels heading into the regular season.
Well, he's a fine shortstop. Done everything he needs to do in the minor leagues, and it's just a matter of being in the right situation with the right club to really show what he can do at the major league level.
Infield double play depth. That means that Diaz and Kipnis are a couple of steps in. Breaking ball is high, and the count 3-1 to Romine. And by the way, the family ties his brother Austin trying to do all he can a long ways away in Florida, trying to make the Yankees as one of their catchers.
It'd be an interesting thing to be in that clubhouse right now over in...
Fouled that one into the seats. Third base side. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, in the Grapefruit League, I mean, just following the Yankees right now with all the injuries, and my goodness.
Retirements that are pending.
Yeah.
Jeter is healthy. Worked his way back.
Romine's brother has had some back issues the last few years. Always kind of been on the radar. This is his first year he's healthy and competing.
Late on a fastball, fouls it off the screen above the Angels dugout. Bounces around into that Angels dugout. One of the members in red grabs it. Sooner or later they'll flip it into the seats for a souvenir. Angels again wearing their red in the third base dugout. Indians their navy blue in the first base dugout. Fires it back, standing up easily, Iannetta. That's only to keep the double play in order. Chris is not going anywhere.
He might surprise you. No, you're right. Andrew Romine's got a great at-bat going right here, though. 3-2 count. Tough. He's being just a tough out at the plate.
Runner stays put on 3-2. That's what you're talking about. He fouls it back to the screen. We'll do it one more time.
Lefty on lefty. Not a great matchup for him. But just go up there and just battle.
Garrett Anderson used to say that he longed to face the, of course, great Angels left-handed hitter. Longed to face a lefty every once in a while to keep that shoulder in. That's what Romine is doing here. He keeps it in. He lays off a pitch that is low and away. That's a heck of an at-bat, and he earns himself a walk. As a guy who will come off the bench some, that's what Mike Scioscia wants to see.
Well, for sure. When you're thinking about playing once a week or coming off the bench, it's all about having good at-bats. My last year I played as a bench guy and got 1 or 2 at-bats a week, and that's a tough job to be in, and really it's just about going up there, competing, battling, and whatever you do, just make it, hit or out, just make it be a tough at-bat. Make the pitcher work a little bit out there, and that's what Andrew Romine just did.
So here is Peter Borges with an opportunity. A couple of base runners on, and he looks at a fastball that's inside. Casimir wanted that call to strike. He peers in and takes a long look.
Well, that was one thing that I do recall about Scott, is he really wasn't in check with his emotions on the mound a few years ago. And things like that would kind of snowball on him and get the best of him. And we'll see how he responds to it today.
The left-hander Scott Casimir on 1-0. Fires a fastball, a high strike. 1-1 the count. Left-hander Scott Casimir, 29 years old. Was an Angel, as many of you remember, for several seasons. His last full season with the Angels was in 2010. And he really did struggle, Tim. 9-15 with an ERA of nearly 6. Made one start only with the Angels in 2011 and then really disappeared from the major leagues until this spring. Runners on the move. Chopping ground ball toward short. Juan Diaz charges. Fires on across in time for the out. To erase Peter Borges. Made that throw on the infield grass, but the runners move up to second and third with 2 outs for the Angels. Well, he's getting some big ground balls, Casimir is, when he needs it.
Yeah, not sure. I don't believe that was a hit and run. It might have just been well, I don't know. It might have been with Iannetta out there.
I think you're right. Mike Scioscia trying to stir things up. We saw Terry Francona calling for a bunt earlier in this game. I think no longer is it fair to stereotype the National League and American League as one is a little ball bunting hit and run league, the National League, and the American League, everybody loads back on their back leg and just knocks it out of the ballpark like Tim Salmon used to do. I think there's a little bit more little ball in the AL now.
Yeah, there is. Well, I think the game has changed. You don't see the big power numbers you did 10 years ago, and that really was what differentiated. In the American League, you could always carry a couple of bigger power hitters, and a lot of reasons why guys were hitting balls out of the ballpark, as we know now. But today, you just don't see that. You see maybe a couple hitters in the lineup. That's why having a guy like Josh Hamilton added to this lineup really gives the Angels some thump with Albert Pujols, because most teams don't have more than maybe 2 guys that can really thump it.
1-0 the count to Alberto Callaspo. The 1-0 comes home, and he fouls it back to the screen. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the third inning, scoreless ball game. For the Angels, they have a pair of hits. The Indians have the same. Neither team has committed an error. Josh Hamilton does wait on deck for his opportunity.
Alberto Callaspo hitting the 2 slot today. I really like him in this spot. Versatile, switch hitter, gives you great at-bats from both sides of the plate. And he has a knack for hitting in the clutch. This kind of a situation right here, when we get out into the season a month from now, it seems like he's the kind of guy that always comes through in these kinds of situations. Just a very professional hitter hitting at the top of the lineup.
Cayaspo had the crowd having some fun. Howie Kendrick looking on as his teammate looks to drive one in as he fouled it off, did Cayaspo. And he fouls off another one. This one to the right side, heading up and into the seats beyond the right field line. Alberto flied to right field back in the first inning. And is 4 for 19 with a pair of walks this spring. He will hit his way on. This is not a guy with a disciplined approach. He's not looking to take 4 and earn a walk. Runners off second and third. The 1-2's outside. 2-2 the count.
That is a true statement, but at the same time, he is a tough out. He stays within a zone. He doesn't expand it, and that's really what you're looking for in this 2 slot is you can be aggressive, but be aggressive in your zone, and you'll see him. He'll let it fly when it's a ball that he thinks he can hit, but he doesn't chase too often.
2-2, fouls it back to the screen. That was a fastball. Was a strike down and away. So we'll do it again. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
As you saw right there, that was a pretty good pitch by Kazmir. You know, he has enough back control to just kind of flick at it and get a piece of it and get on to the next pitch.
The 29-year-old Texas-born left-hander from the stretch deals it, and it's a high fly ball to right field. Going back is Kipnis, coming in is Stubbs. Stubbs with those sunglasses on looks into the sun and puts it away for the out. Well, both pitchers have had runners in scoring position. Both pitchers have had to deal with jams, and because of that, both pitchers pretty darn crafty because it's a scoreless ball game. Angels and Indians. The bottom of the third is next on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Well, we've seen a lot of families making the trip. Glad to have you with us. Darren Sutton, Tim Salmon, Angels Baseball. The honor today of sitting in for Terry Smith while he gets that voice strong, battling a sore throat. Terry will be back in the next couple of days. And Jared Weaver goes back to work against Michael Bourne. And the first pitch is a slow curveball. Never got there as high. 1-0 the count to Bourne. Bourne singled back in the first inning. Is 5 for 25 this spring. Fastball, and it's outside. 2-0 the count. Alberto Cayaspo probably 2-3 steps onto the grass at third. Outfield very shallow for the veteran speedster Bourne. And that one is late and fouled off into the third base concourse area up above the Angels dugout, the visiting dugout.
Michael Bourne had 23 infield singles last year along with his 7 bunt hits. So this is somebody that doesn't need to necessarily hit it out of the infield to get on base.
They do their best to defend him, but you're right. Quick out of that left-handed batter's box. Fastball protecting. It's a high fly ball to left center field. Vernon Wells is going back. Over the shoulder. Can't hold on. Over the warning track. Up against the wall. And Bourne ends up at second base with the double. The interesting thing about that drive is that was the pitch that he looked like he was just trying to protect the inner half. Weaver trying to come in.
Weaver threw that nice 2-seamer middle in, and Michael Bourne just stayed on it, kept his hands inside the ball, and got some good elevation on it. That's a situation as a corner outfielder with a guy like Michael Bourne. You're kind of challenging him to hit it over your head. Most of the time, they're going to slap it in front of you, and that's just the way the defense sets up. You say, hey, try to beat me over my head, and he did right there.
So Bourne with a single and a double. Astonishing, really. And they showed us the replay up here of that great pitch inside. I mean, that's on the inner half. This is a slap hitter on the inner half that nearly hit a ball off the wall. This one's driven to left, but it's off the end of the bat of Brantley, and an easy chance this time for Wells. Michael Brantley took a pitch down and away, and he is 1 for 2 after flying out to left field.
Well, Vernon Wells is a great outfielder, you know, a natural center fielder. He has the ability to make breaks, but one of those things about his game is even in center field, he liked to play shallow. He felt he was better going back on the ball, and that's really tough to teach. But if you have the ability to play shallow, think of all the balls you can take away, those soft liners. But being in a corner position, you have to play back a little deeper.
Back to that string of lefties. It goes all the way down to 6 spots into the order. Right in the middle of it is Jason Kipnis. And the first pitch to the left-handed hitter has him hopping out of the way. It's inside. Right at those shoe tops. 1-0 the count.
A lot of times managers will like to flip-flop, put a lefty then a righty in there and back and forth just to kind of keep the pitcher honest. And especially when you start looking at making moves out of the bullpen, it makes it easier for the opposing manager to match up.
Changeup is swung on and missed by Kipnis. Tim, continue.
Well, I was going to say, in this situation right here for Weaver, it's nice because he gets nice and comfortable against the lefties, gets those pitches going in the right slots that he wants, that release point down. But as we saw in the last couple innings, when that righty gets in there, all of a sudden it's difficult to find it again.
Slow curveball popped up third base side. Callaspo's giving it a look and a run, and it's about 5 rows back into the seats. Weaver preparing, he hopes, for another Cy Young run, and has dealt with some jams. You think about how good he has been over the last couple of years. This is a pitcher since 2010, an ERA of 2.73. Opponent's batting average of 216, and in almost all of the great and important categories, he is first in the American League.
Well, in every big game that the Angels have needed, he's been there and he's risen to the occasion. And last year especially, he was probably tested a little bit more than he had at any other point in his career, getting off to the slow start. And boy, when you're losing games and his turn comes around, it's so important to have him pitch well. And he was pitching in winning games 1-0. I mean, when he wasn't hardly getting any offensive support at all.
Fastball misses up and away. 2-2 the count to Kipnis with Michael Bourne at second and 1 out. Bottom of the third inning, it's a scoreless ball game. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Angels. For the Indians, no runs on 3 hits and no errors. Glad to have you here. Goodyear Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona. 2-2 chop to the right side on the ground. That's for second baseman Howie Kendrick. An easy chance. He fields and fires in time for the out. Bourne, the base runner from second, moves to third. So a runner on third, 2 outs, and Nick Swisher gets an opportunity. Hey, don't forget, by the way, groups of 20 or more can enjoy Angels baseball for as low as $8 a seat. This year, take advantage of the exclusive group hat collection for select series. To book your group outing day, call 888-796-HALO, 888-796-HALO, or visit angels.com/groups. That Little League, that church group, boys poker club. Make your plans and get on out to the ballpark. Nick Swisher, left-handed hitter, takes a fastball up and away. 1-0 the count.
Looking at Swisher, do you think the Yankees wish they would have re-signed him now?
Yes, I do. I do.
24 homers and 93 RBIs. Take that any day.
Slow curveball swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. There's something more about Swisher. You played with teammates like this as well. He's called a glue guy. He's called a guy that keeps the mood light, leadership heavy, a guy that really helps a team. Swings and he misses 1-2 the count. I think he'll have even more of a responsibility with the Indians than he did in New York, though.
Much more welcomed. I think when he first went to New York, everybody was a little quizzical on that one, thinking, how is that attitude going to work in that Yankee clubhouse with the guys like Jeter and Mariano, and everybody's deflecting the attention away from themselves. He has a tendency to attract it.
Curveball, did he go around? He did. Swisher is rung up by the third base umpire. Boy, Weaver is dealing. He's had his jams, certainly, but he is pitching already in mid-season form. Got him, Mr. Swisher, that is, with a nasty curveball. Scoreless ball game through 3, Angels and Indians, on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. So Jared Weaver has thrown 49 very effective pitches. Meantime, Scott Kazmir on the other side has thrown 48 pitches. And so the two veterans in very different spots in their career are doing battle in a fun scoreless ball game. Angels and Indians. Josh Hamilton breaks his bat. It's a sinking, diving line drive right back to Kazmir. Part of the bat, the working part of the bat, headed all the way out to second base where it was picked up by Jason Kipnis. Hamilton does his own housekeeping. And Hamilton is out.
Wow, Scott got deep in his kitchen right there. He had all kinds of time to wait back on that one. I don't think he could have thrown it back to Kazmir any softer, but why? Josh is laughing a little bit. Anytime the ball gets deep in you like that, it's kind of embarrassing, but hit a nice bat toss with the head of the bat as well. It almost hit the second baseman.
Strike one over the outside corner to Mark Trumbo. 0-1 to count to Trumbo. Singled back in the second inning, a broken bat single to right field. Was cleared off the base paths as Kendrick right behind him rolled into a double play. The 0-1 is high. 1-1 the count. We'll talk more about Weaver when he heads back out. What do you think about Kazmir thus far?
Well, he's looking very smooth to me. I can understand why everybody over in that Cleveland dugout is excited about what they're seeing. Boy, that kind of life on the left side of the mound.
Fastball misses away. 2-1 the count.
He's looking a little bit like the Kazmir of old right there.
Casual observation, but it feels like he's thrown about 8 of 10 pitches fastballs.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot of fastballs. When you have that kind of velocity.
Fastball is a fly ball to deep right field, but it's foul. Home run distance, but foul off the bat of Trumbo.
I mean, he threw Trumbo a 2-1 fastball, and that's how late Trumbo was on it. That tells you something right there. Kazmir very smooth in his delivery, and that ball's just jumping out of his hands. It seems like every year in baseball, there's always that story or two of a guy that kind of rebounds or has a career year, and maybe this is going to be one of those years with Kazmir.
5 times he has won 10 or more games in a single season in the big leagues. Tampa Bay, obviously, the Angels. And now trying to make it back with the Indians. Slow breaking ball. That is strike 3. Down goes Trumbo on a swing and a miss. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Angels Baseball Network, and this is Fox Sports West.
Oh, Howie. At least you hit it back harder than you threw it. I mean, never mind. No, you didn't. Oh, you hit him a changeup. That's what you said.
Darren Sutton, Tim Salmon here in Goodyear as a fastball strike is fired right down the middle to Howie Kendrick. Goodyear, Arizona, spring training home of the Indians and the Cincinnati Reds. It's a scoreless contest, top of the 4th inning. I'm sitting in for Terry Smith today as he gets that throat feeling better. It's a one-hopper right past the pitcher's mound on the ground and into center field. Howie Kendrick picked on a fastball. So Howie is 1 for 2 today and having a great spring. His 13th hit in 26 at-bats this spring.
It doesn't matter in spring training. If you throw him a fastball to the heart of the plate, he's going to take a tremendous swing on you there. Howie just continued to do what he does best. Hit fastballs up the box. Stays in the middle part of the field. He can handle that fastball. I can remember the first at-bat he had in big league camp. Might have been 2004 or 2006. He was one of those A-ball kids that got called up. Hit a triple down the right field line on a closer throwing about 100. And I thought to myself, you got to be kidding me. First at-bat, first pitch, hits a triple down the line.
Swing and a miss by Vernon Wells. 0-1 the count. The runner at first is Howie Kendrick. 14 stolen bases last year. And another swing and a miss from Wells. Looked like a hard cut fastball or a slider under his bat, so no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that tells you everything you need to know right there. Vernon Wells struck out his last at bat. Had 3 good swings at fastballs and couldn't square it up. So now he's up there cheating a little bit, and Kazmir's taking a little bit off it. So that tells you what a major league hitter thinks about what he's seeing come out of Kazmir's hand.
A little flip over to first. Nothing really brewing for Howie Kendrick. Had a 2-step lead. They play Wells on the infield. A step or 2 to pull is all. The outfield is straight up, not deep. A little bit of a gap between first and second base, where the second baseman Kipnis is near the bag. Fouls that one back to the screen. Kind of back-legged it on an off-speed pitch. Kept his hands back. 0-2 the count again. 222 in his couple of seasons with the Angels, and Wells trying to find the right kind of spot, because obviously with the rotations of Pujols and Trumbo and Hamilton, some in and out of that DH spot. Howie, or I should say Vernon Wells, knows he needs to keep doing this spring what he has done, and that's hit very effectively.
3 home runs thus far.
0-2, just hanging around. Fouls a fastball right back to the backstop. We'll do it again.
Well, Vernon's found himself at this point in his career in kind of a tough situation to be that guy that comes off the bench once in a while or get your pinch hit at bats. It's a difficult thing to do, especially for a guy like himself. But one thing he has going for him is, boy, he can hit a fastball. He's looking dead red most of the time, and as long as the pitcher's throw it over the heart of the plate, he has a good chance of squaring it up.
0-2, takes it right out of the catcher's mitt on a late swing, and again it goes back to the screen. And the one thing you can say, which isn't always the case with a star caliber player, with a star caliber salary, is that he has handled it like a gentleman. In transition, he has handled the struggles. He has not lashed out at anyone. He's willing to do. I mean, obviously, you want a guy that wants to play every day. You get a guy that's satisfied, then you're in big trouble. He's not satisfied, but he also handles himself with class.
Well, that first year was difficult for him, but I think his last couple years he settled in and just recognized the situation he's in.
Runner takes off, pitches in the dirt, and it's a stolen base for Howie Kendrick. Would have been a wild pitch that moved him up, but since he had already taken off, stolen base for Kendrick. Remember, he stole 14 bases last year, so an RBI opportunity for Wells. A big jump by Kendrick.
Big jump. Distracted Kazmir right there. Kind of what we were talking about earlier as well, is Kazmir's been throwing clean innings. How many opportunities has he had to, pitch in some situations with men on base and, kind of with the fire under him a little bit. Getting back to Vernon Wells, much more relaxed Vernon Wells this last year or so. Recognizing that, hey, I'll just do what I can and try to be a positive influence in the clubhouse.
The 1-2 line drive to right field, charging over, though, to make the play is Drew Stubbs. About 5 steps to his right. Quickly closed the gap. That doesn't mean that Vernon didn't hit it hard. Vernon's still 7 of 17 on the spring. The story today, though, the pitching. Kazmir, fabulous. Weaver, great as well. It's a scoreless ball game to the bottom half of the 4th we go. The Angels and the Indians on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. today, certainly, as we welcome you back in Goodyear, Arizona, Goodyear Ballpark. Sun shining, doing its loving touch on those foreheads out there. Jared Weaver's had a nice touch on the baseball, the right-hander, as he faces Jason Giambi to lead things off. And the first pitch, a fastball up and away to the veteran slugger. Again, the Angels this time without a base runner on a dramatic shift. Well over is Alberto Callaspo, who joins Howie Kendrick. So the third baseman comes across and plays as the rover. Fouled on the ground, back to the backstop it goes. That leaves the shortstop, Andrew Romine, in his traditional position. Instead of moving the shortstop over, Romine stays at short. Callaspo's, he's a rover out there in shallow right field in front of Josh Hamilton. Looks like a softball setup defensively.
I'm telling you, to try to hit in the teeth of that, I'd be working all day long down the third base line. What an easy hit for you right there.
The 1-1 misses outside, 2-1 the count.
Just put down a bunt.
Did you see shifts like that?
I never did. I never did. But I sprayed it too much. I was gap to gap. And
2-1, Giambi fouls it up and over the press box. That's out into the parking lot. 2-2 the count.
But that says a lot about a hitter, too. I mean, he's thinking about getting the head out. He's always looking to hit a home run or get extension. I was always a gap-to-gap home runs are accidents. It was about hitting. My goal was hit a ground ball up the middle. I wanted to get on base and stay on the ball and have a good at bat.
Giambi awaits, slow curveball. He took it for two reasons. Number one, I think he thought it was low. Number two, he couldn't have done anything with it anyway. He hoped it was ball three, and it was. 3-2 the count. So Weaver with a full count. The lanky right-hander rocks and fires and deals. Fastball is fouled on the ground by the dugout on the third base side. We'll do it again. Tim Salmon is the analyst. My name is Darren Sutton. Scoreless ball game. Angels and Indians, bottom half of the fourth inning. Full count, nobody out. Sitting in for Terry Smith as we get his voice better. Terry battling a cold. It's an honor to sit in his chair today. As Weaver deals, 3-2 pitch to Giambi. Fastball inside, ball four. Iannetta held it there for a while. Weaver with the cock in the head, not happy with the call. Giambi, as he's done many times in his career, takes a walk.
It might have been a touch up and in. It was a strike in the first inning against him. You know, one of the things, too, about pitching to Giambi with the shift on like that, the pitcher's got to be in tune with that. If the pitcher throws some fastballs away, the hitter's natural swing is going to take it that way. So you got to really pitch him inside and play to that defensive shift.
Callaspo is in on the grass at third base as that one is fouled off into the seats, third base side. Lonnie Chisenhall. New Stubbs waits on deck. Both teams with 3 hits. Neither team has committed an error. Nice crowd today. Probably about 2/3 capacity here in Goodyear. We realize a lot of Angels fans are here as that one misses high. 1-1 the count.
Lonnie Chisenhall has pretty much been given the job at third base this year for the Indians, even though they have Mike Aviles in there and Mark Reynolds. Mark Reynolds primarily to do the DHing, and Aviles is the utility.
Slow breaking ball. That's a souvenir back behind home plate. Both bullpens are getting busy. Jerome Williams working in the bullpen for the Angels as he gets hot. Earlier we saw Jerry Gill working in the Indians bullpen. He may come into the game. We'll see what decisions both of these teams make. Both pitchers great outings, but they've gone about as far as they plan to go. As the 1-2 is a cut fastball that runs inside. 2-2 the count to Chisenhall. Lonnie out of North Carolina, 24 years old, so plenty of upside. A first-round pick in 2008 of the Cleveland Indians. The 2-2 pitch from Weaver, belted into right field. It's well struck. Hamilton has a beat, though, shy of the track. To his right, he puts that one away. Chisenhall thought for a moment he squared it up, but he didn't.
I think that was a little bit off the bat. Might have been a two-seamer. Just got out in front of it a little bit. Caught it off the end. That's the thing about Weaver, though. This stuff is constantly moving. I couldn't tell if he got off the end or he got jammed. I think he got that one off the end. Took a little bit off it. Weaver has the tendency to do that in those fastball counts. So kind of threw that little dead fish BP fastball as well. Facing guys like him, it was never fun because you just never going to get a good look at any pitch.
Right-handed hitter Drew Stubbs. I just always think of the guile and the courage that it takes, and obviously he's been around long enough to know how to do this, to throw what is, as you say, a BP fastball, a dead fish fastball. For our listeners or our viewers, as the breaking ball is strike one to Drew Stubbs, 0-1 the count, that means taking 5 or 6 miles an hour off. It's not a changeup. You're just babying a fastball in there.
Yeah, your normal fastball maybe hits 90, 91, and that BP one goes up there at 86.
Fastball is fouled off, back behind, and up and into the parking lot it goes, right up over our heads.
Usually it's thrown in hitters counts when a guy's sitting on a dead red fastball and he sees it come out of his hands straight. Looks like he's got the fastball, and ball just big swing, no ball. If they're lucky, they make contact with it. Most of the time they swing through it.
Daisuke Matsusaka may work in this game. He warms in the pen, swung on and missed. Stubbs goes over the top of it. Down he goes on strikes with a fastball. Stubbs is a strikeout victim. So a couple of outs. Talked about that action in the bullpen for the Indians. Action for the Angels as well. We'll keep an eye on that. But 2 outs. Lou Marson with the runner at first. He fly to center field in the second inning.
Mark Trumbo playing first base today. Looks to be playing some first base to start the season with Albert Pujols' knee situation. And that was a situation where Ionetta wanted to do a pick on a strikeout and caught Trumbo a little off guard. He's got to get back on the same page with Ionetta there. Talk about that a little bit. Get their signals down. But Ionetta came up to make that flash throw down to first base. And if Trumbo would have been there, they might have had him.
Communication the key, and as you were describing it accurately, a couple of steps behind getting there. The 0-1 pitch misses down and away. 1-1 the count to Marson.
Mark Trumbo is such a valuable asset to this club. You can DH, play first base, play your corner positions in the outfield. Probably not going to see any third base anymore, but nonetheless, he's a power bat. You got to keep his bat in the lineup any way you can.
Fastball misses high. 2-1 the count. 2 outs, scored a ball game. Bottom half of inning number 4. Indians and Angels, Cactus League baseball here at Goodyear Ballpark on the far west side of Phoenix. 2-1, didn't mean to. Checks his swing, pops it up. Trumbo towards the pitcher's mound, charges in. A little didn't mean to check swing pop-up ends the inning, and more than likely ends the day for Weaver. A heck of an outing for both Weaver and Casimir today, and we move along. We have played 4 complete. So far, it's been a pitcher's afternoon. Scoreless, Angels and Indians on the Angels Baseball Network, Fox Sports West. Jared Weaver was really solid today for the Angels. And so was Scott Casimir. Both pitchers fabulous today. Weaver tuning up for the season. Casimir trying to earn a spot. But Weaver 4 shutout innings. A couple of walks. He struck out 6. He's earned some hydration in that dugout. We look back out onto the field and we see the Indians have made a change. They go with veteran side wheeler Joe Smith. Smith and Matsusaka were warming simultaneously, and the first pitch drops down sidearm to Cole Calhoun. It's strike one. Calhoun, left-handed hitter, struck out swinging back in the third inning. 28-year-old right-hander Smith, Ohio born and raised. Played college baseball at Wright State University. Off speed is a strike. No balls and 2 strikes to count.
He looks dialed in right now. Sinker slider ahead in the count 0-2 right here on Cole Calhoun.
Outfield very shallow for Calhoun. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And 3 pitches. Calhoun is done. Great sequence, though. The last pitch, after a breaking ball away, it was a rising fastball up and out of the zone.
Yeah, anytime you're 0-2 off a guy like that, with that much movement, it's very difficult. Like you said, that ball just took off out of the zone.
And now Chris Iannetta with a chance. Tough for right-handed hitters against these side-wheelers, but he's ready. Hits it hard on the ground, into left field for a base hit. In between Chisenhall and Diaz. So Chris Iannetta, a 2-for-2 day, 9 for 21 this spring.
He didn't waste any time at all. He got all over that first pitch. A lot of times when you're facing these guys that are late bullpen kind of guys, they're looking to get ahead in the count. Sometimes your best opportunity is that pitch early in the count because it's going to be in the zone for a strike.
Chris hit 240 last season, having a great spring. Would love to up that number a bit this year. First pitch popped up, third base side. That's Andrew Romine, and it's into the seats about 10 rows, where the shadows have crept over beyond and behind the Angels dugout. Romine walked back in the third inning, and in a bat that Tim Salmon dubbed as gritty and tough because he just kept fouling off tough pitches to hit, and then finally took ball 4.
Well, yeah, the biggest part of it was he was facing a pretty good lefty on the mound, and for Andrew, he's only hitting from one side of the plate these days, the left side. So anytime he faces those lefties and he can show a good at bat, you know he's building confidence in Mike Scioscia.
1-1 the count as the pitch sails high and away to Romine. Last year in AAA, Andrew hit 285, homered 4 times, scored 57 runs as well. Didn't mean to. Check swing off the screen, third base side by the Angels dugout.
Well, Andrew's not going to be a big offensive guy for you. He's clearly here because his skills at shortstop. He's a great defensive shortstop. He can fill in, and that's what you need. You think about giving Eric Ibar a day off once in a while. Shortstop's a big hole to fill, and Andrew's proven that he's got the defense abilities to do that. His hitting's adequate. You know, he'll give you as long as he gives you some tough at bats and works in a few walks and a few hits here and there. I think so should be pleased with it.
Fooled him with an off-speed pitch, and it's popped up. Very shallow left field. Shortstop and left fielder get together, but Brantley calls off Juan Diaz. The left fielder makes the play for the second out of the inning. Side armor getting away with the breaking ball that was up in the zone, but I think the change in speeds fooled him enough. Been an 0-for-2 afternoon for Peter Borges so far as he goes to work again. A couple of ground ball outs. So Peter Borges of 2011 is who the Angels are seeking, and they will give him every opportunity to be that guy. That year he had 271. He had 11 triples. Peter had 22 stolen bases as he takes strike 1 over the outside corner.
Well, he was given the chance to play every day then, and last year it wasn't the case. Mike Trout came on the scene, and he never got back out of that lineup. So Peter pretty much was relegated to part-time duty, that extra outfield, late inning defense, and it's very tough to get your stroke going with those limited at-bats.
Trying to bunt, bunted it foul. 0-2 the count. So he's in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Came in having a great spring, 8 of 24 with a 407 on base. That 2011 is what he wants. He wants that 271 season that we talked about with a respectable on base of nearly 330. You mentioned last year that on base dropped to below 300.
As you look at those numbers there in that last graphic, the number he needs to get out of his head is the home run number. That on-base percentage number has got to be his focus. With that on-base percentage, then that average is going to come up. But I think to Peter's detriment, he's got some pop, and he likes to get a little big every once in a while. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that 15, 20 years ago, managers would tell you, hey, hit the ball on the ground. If you hit the ball in the air, I'm pulling you out. Because he's got that kind of speed. You stay on the ground, you're going to get on base and make things happen.
1-2 the count. That one missed in, so he deals 1-2. Fly ball center field. Michael Bourne has a beat over his left shoulder. He holds it in, heading toward that warning track. Borges is 0 for 3. Both pitchers now going to their bullpens, and good work by Smith that time. As we move along to the bottom half of inning number 5, scoreless ball game, Angels and Indians, on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. To the bottom of the 5th inning we go, and the baseballs have been well commanded by these pitchers today, and now the bullpens take over. We welcome you back to Goodyear, Arizona. Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton in for Terry Smith today, trying to get that voice better. Jerome Williams is on the mound, the veteran right-hander who last year an ERA of 4.58, 6-8 last year, 15 starts, 32 appearances overall. Not a big strikeout guy, Williams, but a guy who can be a bit of a stunt man. He can start if you need him. The Hawaiian native is 31 years old.
Well, Jerome pitches to contact. That's part of his game. He keeps the ball down in the zone with that sinker. He got touched up a little bit here early in spring. Feeling strong probably. That sinker wasn't moving like it normally should, and kind of got touched up. So last outing against Team Italy, he actually kind of found his groove. Had that ball moving a little bit, had some clean frames, and feeling much better about his progress thus far in spring.
Wide open stance, left-handed hitter Juan Diaz goes to work. There's that sinker you talked about. It's on the ground, out to second. An easy chance for Howie Kendrick. Fires over to Trumbo. In time for the out, one away. One pitch, one out.
Well, once again, like you mentioned, Jerome's versatility as Sosha and his pitching staff it's just been so relied upon in the last year. His ability to spot start, had some injuries last year, had some holes in the rotation with some guys going down. He's able to step in and spot start and then go back to the pen in long relief. And
veteran Michael Bourne takes a diving fastball outside. 1-0 the count.
Looks like he's battling a bee out there. Jerome Williams, that is, swatting his hat at something.
He's got the bee under control and his fastball as he nips the outside corner. 1-1 the count to Michael Bourne. Still certainly Bourne a stolen base threat. Stole 42 a season ago. As the 1-1 hit on an easy line drive. Romine, the shortstop, gloves it. Belt high. And there are quickly 2 outs. They're not squaring him up as of yet. And he's making his pitches, getting the movement that you talked about, Tim. So 2 outs for Michael Brantley. No runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the visiting Angels. For the home spring training Indians, no runs, 3 hits, and no errors. But a crisp baseball game on a beautiful, beautiful day. As we speak to you now, 75 degrees here in Goodyear, Arizona. Just flawless. the cool weekend is long gone as that one sails up and away to Brantley. 1-0 the count.
I was mentioning earlier with Casimir was throwing and even Weaver about having clean innings and wanting to get into some situations to work on some things. Jerome had it the opposite. Just from the very first pitch, it seemed like he was in a hole. He was battling, and that's always tough to do right out of the gate, and kind of got off kilter a little bit. But like I said, against Team Italy in his last outing, he was able to settle down and have some clean slates and looking a lot more relaxed.
2-0 pitch to Brantley. He grounds it foul into his own dugout where they will scatter. 2-1 the count to Michael Brantley. Michael singled back in the first inning, fly to left in the third. Central High School in Fort Pierce, Florida. And he overthrew a breaking ball there, did Williams, so it stayed up. 3-1 the count to Brantley.
Well, when you talk about this Cleveland Indian outfield, they're very much like the Angels. They have 3 center fielders. They have 3 guys that can go get it. They're going to play great defense behind him, and he's got some speed. 37 doubles last year, can steal some bases.
Check swing on a changeup away on 3-1. Williams makes the play out front of the mound. Fires in time for the out, getting the streaking Brantley. Well, relief pitching solid certainly for Mike Scioscia as Williams comes in, cleans it up. Weaver was great as well this afternoon. We're scoreless through 5. Indians and Angels on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Daisuke Matsusaka goes to work on a beautiful day at the ballpark. If you're just joining us on the radio side, a great day to make your way from Southern California. We see a lot of red out here. We see a lot of youngsters, some on a week break, and some even under the shade of their cap enjoying some ice creams here. And sounds really good while you're driving around on the freeways, doesn't it? Take a break. Head on out to the Cactus League when you have a chance, as the clock continues to tick towards opening day. Daisuke Matsusaka goes to work, the veteran right-hander, with that unique delivery, and he fires a strike over the outside corner to Alberto Callaspo. Daisuke signed as a free agent by the Cleveland Indians on February the 13th. Of course, Seibu Lions fame over in the Japanese Pacific League before heading to the Boston Red Sox as he misses high and away. 1-1 the count on Callaspo. 7 appearances in the postseason for Matsusaka. Stayed very, very busy. 3-1 as a postseason pitcher for the Red Sox. 117 overall appearances for Boston. Fly ball to center field. New center fielder out there is Cedric Hunter. He makes the play for the out. Standing next to Cedric Hunter out there to his right, and to our left as we sit is Ryan Rayburn. So Rayburn in left, Hunter is in the center, part of the changes with Matsusaka on the mound.
Well, Daisuke was a nice addition. Obviously brought over Terry Francona. Knows much about him, and with this Cleveland Indians starting rotation that was in disarray after last season,
Josh Hamilton takes a fastball in on his hands and shoots it past the third baseman Chisenhall. Into left field it goes. Hamilton just fought that one off, used his strength. They were playing him. The pole was Chisenhall. That opened up the area by the line.
Well, Hamilton likes the swing of that first pitch early in the count, especially when it's out over the plate. Took a nice little two-seamer the other way. That's the one thing about Hamilton this year. They're talking, is this new theory of Angel hitting, being patient at the plate? Are they going to try to change him or just let him go ahead and keep doing what he does, which is swing at the first pitch most of the time?
Josh is 1 for 3, and Tim, you were right on the money as swing and a miss follows by Mark Trumbo. 0-1 the count. That one wasn't in at all. It was a diving fastball down and away. And a pretty, dare I say, Rod Carew-like approach, slapping that one exactly where it was pitched. That was pretty by Josh Hamilton.
And for a guy that has as much pop as he does, to be able to, flip that barrel out there and go the other way and take a single. I mean, we were just watching J.C. Giambi last inning with the shift over. He's not willing to do that, so that says a lot about Hamilton. His willingness and ability to just get on base and not go up there looking to hit the home run every time.
Trumbo played to pull on the infield, certainly. Kitness opens up the right side. For the slugger, a pitch dives inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count on Mark Trumbo. 61 home runs for the young slugger over the last 2 seasons. Big, strong, and athletic.
He reminds me so much of Mark McGwire, just in his pure raw power. The ball, the way the ball comes off his bat is unmatched by hardly anyone in the game. Even Albert Pujols, who's obviously Hall of Fame bound with as many home runs as he has. The ball just doesn't come off the bat the same on Albert's bat. I mean, Albert's a home run hitter, but Mark Trumbo, boy, he gets extension and the ball just rockets off his bat.
Flicks a pitch and fouls it off. That has to count at 1 ball and 2 strikes on Trumbo. Facing Daisuke Matsusaka. Daisuke 200 innings pitched, only 1 time in the major leagues. It was his first year in the major leagues. Back in 2007, his time is called. Lou Marson, the catcher, tired of waiting for things, steps out front of home plate. Circles his finger around and round as if to say, Daisuke, we're going to give you a brand new set of signs. Outfield very deep, close to the warning track for Trumbo. Scoreless ball game. Indians, Angels, top half of the 6th, and Trumbo off the end of the bat. Rolls it out to Daisuke, who fires to second. That's all they will get. Covering the bag is Juan Diaz. They get Josh Hamilton, who is barreling in. So score that one 1-6 on the putout. Mark Trumbo reaches on a slow rolling fielder's choice that he got right off the end of the bat.
Well, Daisuke is being very deliberate in holding the runner at first, and then as soon as he goes, he's quick to the plate, and that has to mess with a batter's timing, especially a big guy like Mark Trumbo. I didn't enjoy facing guys like that. That held the ball, and then when they went to the plate, they were quick. And sometimes they weren't always so quick, but it was just the motions looked quick, and that was enough to get you jumpy at the plate.
Howie Kendrick takes a fastball over the inside corner for strike 1. Scoreless ball game. Couple of outs. Runner on first and Mark Trumbo. We're talking about Kendrick loving fastballs, loving spring training. This is a guy that hits close to .330 in his career when a pitch is a fastball. There's a fastball, hits it hard on the ground to short. Easy chance for Diaz. Fires over to Kitness in time for the out. So Smith out of the bullpen, then Daisuke Matsusaka keep things clean. We move to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The Angels nothing, the Indians nothing on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Scoreless baseball game as we move along to the bottom of the 6th inning, keeping track of Mike Scioscia with some changes. Jerome Williams working in his 2nd inning and working out of the bullpen was very solid with the 1-2-3 frame in the bottom half of the 5th inning. I think we have a handle on all of Mike's changes. We'll pass them along here in just a moment. Jason Kipnis leads it off. Swing and a miss. Strike one. 0-1 the count to Kipnis. As we play here with the Angels 5 hits on the board, no errors, and the Indians with just 3. It's been all about the pitchers. As the 0-1 nipped it, and it stays right around home plate on a foul ball. 0-2 the count on Kipnis, who has flied to right and grounded out to second base. Luis Jimenez is the new 3rd baseman. Efrain Navarro is the new 1st baseman for Mike Scioscia's Angels. Couple of changes down there. The 0-2 is high. 1-2 the count.
Not a bad place to throw that slider right there. A lot of talk in Indian camp about Kipnis and just where he's going to hit in the lineup. He's very versatile. He can hit down in the lineup for you, hit in the heart of the order for you. Has good bat control, but also has some surprising power.
The 1-2 fouled off a fastball in on the hands.
Had 14 home runs and 78 RBIs. 78 runs driven in from a 2nd baseman. That's pretty good. Pretty good production right there. 31 stolen bases. Another one of those guys that can really make some things happen once he gets on base.
Swing and a miss. Breaking ball. That's strike 3. Kipnis over the top of a tough Williams bender, and down he goes. Bottom fell out of that one.
Yeah, I think that was the changeup. Well, no, it's a slider. Kind of a backdoor slider. Didn't really have much right to left movement, but really just up and down.
Behind him defensively and infield from 3rd to 1st of Luis Jimenez. Romine stays at short. Luis Rodriguez is at 2nd and Efrain Navarro at 1st. As Nick Swisher hits it hard out toward that new infield. Navarro is there, flips in time, covering the bag, and a nice job. Both ends defensively. 3-1 Williams getting over there. As Nick Swisher 0 for 3 didn't waste any time. A couple of new outfielders to tell you about. Vernon Wells is staying out there. He'll take the work in left field. J.B. Shuck is in center field for Mike Scioscia's Angels. And in right field, Trent Olchin, Australian born and raised.
Had to have a little meeting on the mound there to let the new 3rd base. Who's our new 3rd baseman? I thought that was Callasco.
That's Luis Jimenez. That's
Luis
right.
Jimenez. Okay.
He has to head all the way over.
Yeah, he had to be directed. Where do you want me to go on this guy?
Good catch by you, Tim Salmon. Good catch by you. He's playing the role of rover. Romine, the shortstop, stays all by himself. He's the lone infielder for Jason Giambi, who takes strike 1 over the outside corner. Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton. Darren in for Terry Smith. I'm honored to be sitting in Terry's seat, getting that throat better under the weather. Giambi hits a high fly ball. Should be playable. Olchin and Shuck get together, fighting the sun. Shuck hangs in there. So all that shifting and moving and dancing by Luis Jimenez, really, honestly, well, it didn't matter. We move along to the 7th inning. Still scoreless here at Goodyear Ballpark, Angels and Indians. This is the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Fans, don't forget the annual Angels 5K and Fun Run takes place March 30th. Participants will run a course through Angels Stadium, receive a commemorative shirt and ticket to watch the Halos take on the Dodgers that night. For more information and to sign up, visit angels.com/5K. Proceeds will benefit the Angels Foundation, the Angels Baseball Foundation, and that's a good thing, a very good thing. Bad news for Daisuke Matsusaka, as we were sharing about the Fun Run. Terry Francona, his former manager in Boston, now his current skipper here in Cleveland, didn't like what he was seeing. And Daisuke, who's trying to make an impression this spring, receives a visit from the training staff, a visit from his manager, and they say, you know what? We're not too happy with what we're seeing. Did they officially go to the bullpen? They did, so Matsusaka will make his way on out of here, and they will head on out to the bullpen. So while the Indians reset their situation, we will step aside. Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton reminding you it's a scoreless ball game heading into the 7th inning. This is the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. So Daisuke Matsusaka goes down. As we welcome you back to Goodyear Ballpark, we'll let you know as soon as we know what occurred with Daisuke Matsusaka. The Angels and Indians in the top of the 7th inning. It's a scoreless ball game for the visitors from Tempe. The Angels, no runs, 5 hits and no errors. For the Indians, no runs, 3 hits and no errors. And Matt Langwell, the Texas-born right-hander, goes to work. Pitched collegiately at Rice, and last couple of years in the minor leagues has been putting up some big-time strikeout numbers. About 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. And you can see in 42 games last year, very, very good work for Langwell. And obviously he will take all the time he needs. Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton. Tim providing some great perspective for us. And Tim, it's obviously you've been around a lot of. This is your home. You have your other home in Southern California, but this is your home, so you've been able to spend a lot of time with the Angels this spring. A couple of guys I want to ask you about their progress, and you can give some good updates from our fans driving around. The first one is the growth, the knee, and the healing of Albert Pujols over the last few days. What do you know about Albert?
Well, I know that Albert feels he's ready, further along than Sosha and the training staff will let him feel. You know, he wants to get out there and play, and he's confident where he's at. But Sosha and the training staff, they have the big picture in mind. They want to make sure that, you know, he takes as much time as he needs to get ready. There's no rush to get him out there. They know they have the DH slot available for him if they need it coming out of the gate. But they're big picture thinking. They know that Albert has to be healthy through the course of the year. It was the back knee that he hurt. Actually, had a little torn cartilage in there, and it really limited his ability to his mobility there in the second half of the season. So they realize, and Artie and everybody else associated with the Angels realize they need to have Albert Pujols healthy, and that knee has got to take as much time as it needs to make sure that they can keep him on the field.
Vernon Wells awaits the warm-up tosses and the completion of the warm-up tosses. Vernon obviously part of another situation. Vernon trying to fit in the outfield, an outfield that now has Josh Hamilton. I would love your perspective on the update on the Angels outfield. Wells kind of on the outside looking in, but the outfield, when you talk about Trout, Borges, and then Hamilton and Wright, we know it's going to be a great defensive outfield. How do you see it playing out?
Well, it's going to be a great defensive outfield, and where I see Vernon, unfortunately for Vernon's sake, when you start talking about the National League teams or the interleague games, that's where Trumbo's going to move to the outfield, and Borges is going to come out. So even in those situations, Vernon's probably not going to get at-bats. His at-bats are going to be limited. He's kind of the fifth outfielder, or he is the fifth outfielder in this situation, and he's just going to have to take at-bats when they come, probably against the good left-handers, and he's going to have to learn to hit those closers late in the game.
Always the tough assignment of the pinch hitter. We'll get you news as soon as we can on Daisuke Matsusaka. Meantime, Matthew August Langwell goes to work. 26-year-old right-hander, pitched at Rice, and he faces Vernon Wells. First pitch sinks low, 1-0 the count to Vernon Wells. Vernon today struck out, and he also lined to right field, but this spring he's got 3 home runs of his 7 hits, and he's 7 of 17.
He swung the bat well. He's a little bit like Howie Kendrick for me. He's going to get a steady dose of fastballs in spring training, and the way they're set up to swing, they're going to take advantage of that. And for Vernon, it's been really a matter of the last couple of years just getting consistent at bats.
This time beaten with the fastball. It's a high fly to the right side. In on the infield is Mike McDade, who came on to play first, and he hauls it in for the out. So Vernon Wells a mile high into the air, and he has an 0 for 3 afternoon. Now an opportunity for Cole Calhoun. Some cheers from the locals, certainly, because Cole Calhoun made a name for himself at the high school level, locally at Buckeye High School, and then at ASU.
Buckeye's just down the street from us here down here in Goodyear.
Back to the screen as he fouls it off. 0-1 the count to Calhoun. 1 away. Top of the 7th inning. Neither team has notched anything in the run column. If you're just joining us, Scott Kazmir was great, former Angel, on the comeback trail with the Indians. Jared Weaver was even better. The 0-1 pitch misses low. 1-1 the count. Jared Weaver went 4 innings, 3 hits. Didn't give up anything with regard to runs. 6 strikeouts and a pair of walks. And you know what? Worked out of a couple of jams, which is fine. Got himself in, got himself right out of it. The 1-1 swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Good fastball.
Cole is one of the many left-handed outfielders, the stable of outfielders the Angels have brought in this year, along with Matt Long, J.B. Shuck, Trent Olchen. Quite a few lefties, left-handed hitting outfielders that might have a chance to make this club.
Meantime, Calhoun takes a fastball over the inside corner, and it freezes him. Locked him up. That is strike 3. Reached back a little bit to grab that one, but really in the end it ended up almost splitting the plate as you take another look at it. Calhoun goes down, an 0 for 3 strikeout afternoon. And so now Chris Iannetta. Chris right back to the screen on a line, chases the first pitch fastball from Langwell. But very encouraging for Weaver. I mean, it's what we've come to expect, but as you get closer and closer to April, the 0-1.
Well, he got stressed in the first inning. We talked about that early on, how sometimes that's a good thing, and he didn't panic. He pitched himself out of it, striking out the next 2 batters. Actually, the heart of the order, Swisher and Giambi. Broke out some off-speed pitches when he needed it, and I'm sure he's going to come out of it feeling pretty good about that performance, considering that he had an opportunity to work himself out of a jam.
Back-to-back pitches fouled off by Iannetta, and the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Both fastballs, both fouled off late on the fastballs to the right side. He deals to the right-handed hitter a breaking ball. Did he go around? Checked his swing. He held up. They did a quick appeal, did Sapphire. And Brian Gorman, the first base umpire, said, no, sir. No swing there for Chris Iannetta.
Chris has had a couple quick at-bats, his first 2 at-bats, putting the ball in play, getting hits. Sometimes it's good in spring to get yourself deeper into a count, get yourself into a...
Instead, he takes a fastball right down the middle. That's strike 3. He was looking for something else. 1, 2, 3. Coming on, Langwell doing fine work as Daisuke Matsusaka exited the game. Stand up and stretch him out. It's 7th inning stretch time. The Angels and Indians. This is a scoreless ball game on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. the 7th inning, scoreless baseball game. They were wrapping up the 7th inning stretch. Angels fans everywhere as we look down below. That's a good sight to see. A sea of red. Williams still out there working out of the bullpen. Lonnie Chisenhall digs in and takes a fastball outside. 1-0 the count to Chisenhall. Lonnie struck out and also flied to right field, so he is 0 for 2. As Williams rocks and fires, hit hard on the ground out to second base. Luis Rodriguez, who came in last inning, makes the play. On a Sunday hop, chest high, he fires over to Navarro in time for the out. Matt Young is the new left fielder for the Angels. He goes to work out there. First Care Health Injury Plan report. Visit firstcare.com to learn more about their patients' first philosophy of care. Care first, it's all about you. Not much, and that's a good thing from the injury front. Bill Hall with an oblique injury. He's improving, closing to returning. And, of course, Terry Smith is rehabbing his vocal cords. That's why I'm able to sit in this seat today. Thank you, Terry, for at least thinking of me for the opportunity. More importantly, get better soon so you can get right back in here. He'll be back, I would imagine, after an Angels off day tomorrow. Drew Stubbs takes inside. 1-0 the count to the right-handed hitter. And the 1-0 pitch comes home. Hits it hard, base hit left field on a line over the head of the third baseman, Jimenez. So Drew Stubbs went out. Nice, quick, compact stroke, so he is on for the second time.
Drew Stubbs reached out, hooked that ball in the left field. Jerome's been pitching the ball pretty well this game. He's got 5 of his 7 outs have been limited to the infield. And that's exactly what he needs to do. Keep that ball in the infield. Let those guys make the plays for you. 1 strikeout, 1 fly ball. And then that's the first single he's given up. Here will be an opportunity to work on keeping somebody close. As we mentioned, Drew Stubbs can run pretty well.
Working out of the stretch, he steps off the mound as Williams. Infield of Jimenez. Romine's still out there. He got the start. He's still out there at short. Luis Rodriguez and Efren Navarro. They're cheating in at double play depth for sure, especially around the bag at second. Outfield is straight up. And Williams deals a fastball, sinks low. 1-0 the count. To Lou Marson, the catcher. The backup catcher usually for the Indians. Local product, Coronado High School, and makes his home in the Scottsdale area. He was in Cleveland for a college basketball game a couple of weeks ago, and they really wanted to only talk about the Indians. They have got a bit of a buzz going for all the moves made this winter. As Williams fires over, Stubbs is back.
A lot of excitement after a season they had last year. Bringing a new manager. Some great leadership on the bench now. A lot of speed in the outfield. They were involved in that big trade.
Long pause for Williams as he comes set, and he'll step off and look the dangerous Stubbs back. Again, he stole a base in the second, stole 30 bases last year.
One of the things to watch in Jerome right here, after his first outing, he was in a situation with a lot of runners on. He's super quick to the plate. He's got a good move, almost paying too much attention to that runner, and his slide step was so fast his arm just wasn't getting in the right slot, and he was leaving the ball up in the zone quite a bit. I recall sitting on the bench talking to Butch about that a little bit, watching him pitch, and like I said, just out of the gate, he hadn't quite got that slide step down.
Rushes that one home on a slider, and it swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. Got home pretty quickly that time.
Well, he's actually picking his foot up now in the slide step. What I was talking about a week ago, he literally it was just barely coming off the ground and sliding down. He didn't have any bend in that knee. He was quick to the plate, but he just wasn't able to get his arm caught up with him.
Scoreless ball game, bottom half of the 7th inning, and a pitch out. John Hester is the new catcher as he came on to work for Chris Iannetta. Called that one from manager Mike Scioscia. The Stanford product, Hester. You and Terry talked about it coming on the air. He and Conger in a bit of a battle for that number 2 catching spot.
Well, it's going to come down to what does Scioscia want. Does he want an extra bat on the bench, or does he want the extra defensive catcher on the bench? Because there's a big difference between the two styles of play. John Hester much further along with his defensive capabilities. Swinging the bat, I mean, he's adequate. He'll give you good at bats, but make no mistake, he's there for his catching ability. And Conger, on the other hand, he has some thunder in his bat, and it's very intriguing. The question is, can he give you enough defense? And he's had some problems throwing this spring for Sosha to put him in there. As you see, there are 4 errors behind the plate. He had 3 yesterday, 3 throwing errors. All the errors have been on the throwing side. He's doing a better job catching the ball, receiving the ball, blocking the ball, things of that nature. But you have to be able to throw the ball as a catcher.
The count runs to 3-1. The runner goes. The pitch is high, and it is ball 4. So the throw down inconsequential. It was a pretty throw down by Hester, and it is a walk. A walk to Lou Marson. So runners on first and second for the Indians. Maybe, as you said, and I think you really were onto something, Tim Sam, and I'm sure you noticed it as a hitter, that so concerned about Stubbs that he walked the guy that hit 226 last year.
Well, that was the problem he had the first couple outings. Like I said, last outing against Team Italy, he didn't really have any base runners, so he's really focused on making his pitches. And it's spring training, and that's what happens. It's the same thing for a hitter, you know, working on hitting fastballs, hitting curveballs, hitting off speed, hitting deep in the count, early in the count. Well, it's the same thing for pitchers. Working with nobody on base, men on base, guys that can steal, working in the slide step, the pick move. It's all part of finding your rhythm in spring training.
Tyler Holt, by the way, pinch runs for the catcher. Marson, he is running out there at first. Holt, so some even better speed with Stubbs and Holt. 0-1 the count to Juan Diaz. Big swing and a miss. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting shortstop, who is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Jerome Williams on the mound. Jared Weaver was fabulous. If you missed that part, 4 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. Weaver gave up 3 hits and walked a pair. Getting closer to mid-season 4. Pitch bounces in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Diaz. Nice job by Hester keeping it right in front of him. Let's pause. It's station identification time. This is the Angels Baseball Network, and this is Fox Sports West. Back at it, the 1-2 swung on and missed it. Strike 3 right over the top of what looked to be a slider. And a fabulous pitch. Diaz just tied up.
Well, you can see how effective Jerome is when he's working ahead in the count. That's the key with him. Throwing that sinker ahead in the count, getting ahead of him, and working in the secondary pitches. It's amazing. When you're ahead in the count, as a pitcher, you can really start expanding that strike zone, and the hitter gets on the defensive side of things, and he'll go with you and stretch it for you.
Cedric Hunter checks his swing on a breaking ball down and in, but he went around, and it's strike 1. 0-1 the count. Runners on first and second against Hunter, who last year hit .268, had 5 home runs, playing in AAA for the Indians. Hunter came on to play center field to take over for Michael Bourne, who started this game. Left-handed hitter, good fastball, nips the inside corner. No balls and 2 strikes to count.
Well, Jerome Williams is not nearly concerned about Stubbs at second base as he was at first, and he's coming out pumping fastballs now.
Hunter was an A's product a season ago. Padres as well. And that pitch dives down and in. Took a little bit off. It was a breaking ball. Signed this past winter by the Cleveland Indians. Padres, A's, Cardinals. He's been busy. Georgia born and raised, Cedric Hunter. In the hole, 1-2. The pitch on the ground, first base line, but did it get a piece of his foot? It did. So even though it was fielded out there by the first baseman Navarro, hopping around now, taking a walk away from home plate, is Cedric Hunter. So he'll get another opportunity. 1 ball and 2 strike count.
I like the way Jerome Williams throws his curveballs, where they start on the inside part of the plate up in the zone, so the hitter looks like he's actually going to get a straight fastball, and actually it's a slider that he's throwing, and it has a nice little break underneath the bat.
It's a gutsy pitch for me. It's fun to see. You just can't miss your spot with it. The 1-2, he threw it again. He left it up and in that time. 2-2 the count. That was a slider. It was up and in, and it missed.
It looked like it backed up on him a little bit, kind of overthrew it. Probably looked more like a cutter as a hitter up there.
It is a hard breaking ball. You're exactly right. 2 runners on first and second. Stubbs and the pinch runner Holt. The 2-2 fastball inside corner. That's strike 3, and he got him looking. Williams really did some pitching there. I mean, some dandy work, and it ended with a fastball that nipped the inside corner, sitting down Cedric Hunter. 7 in the books. Angels and Indians scoreless ball game on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Glad to have you back as we welcome you back to Goodyear Ballpark. Tim Salmon, Darren Sutton, having the honor of sitting in for Terry Smith. Terry Smith trying to rest those vocal cords, get back from a cold and a flu, and he will be back here in just a couple of days after an Angels off day tomorrow. Meantime, it's been a fun ball game to be a part of. It's been a pitcher's duel, a scoreless ball game, and it's not as if both of these squads trotted out a whole bunch of number 98s and 87s to start the game. Both squads not far off, minus the WBC of their starting lineups, as the first pitch to Andrew Romine is outside. 1-0 the count. Langwell continues to work on the mound. The 1-0 pitch right back to work, misses inside. 2-0 the count to Romine.
Well, I think everybody expected Weaver to do what he did up there, but I think on the Angels side, everybody's really curious to see what Scott Kazmir was going to look like.
Romine, a line drive over the head of the shortstop Hernandez. Into the gap in left center field and all the way to the wall. Romine eases into second with the double. He took a pitch down in the zone and a nice opposite field line drive approach. So Romine with the double. He's been on twice today.
Very nice hitting down and in. Little sinker, stayed through, kept his hands through the ball, drove it to left center field. Leadoff double in a 0-0 game, top of the 8th. You got to imagine with Luis Rodriguez coming up, this is an opportunity for him to do more than just go up there and swing the bat. Give Scioscia a peek at what he's capable of doing late in the game with a, with a runner on second base and nobody out.
Luis Rodriguez is swinging instead, and it's off the end of the bat. Dies in center field where Cedric Hunter races in and makes the play for the out. So, as you were talking about, Tim, no little ball that time. Rodriguez swinging all along.
Well, in that situation right there, I know Scioscia's, he's looking to get that guy over one way or the other. If you can't hit the ball to the right side, bunt it. Do something, get him over. And Luis is new to the organization this year and trying to make the club. That was his opportunity to show Mike Scioscia what he knows about playing the game.
First at bat for J.B. Shuck as he digs in. Left-handed batter, and he takes a fastball that's right down the middle. Shuck, an Ohio native, playing against a team from his home state. Spent last year in AAA Oklahoma City in the Astros organization. Played at Ohio State University. And a good chance for the 25-year-old here with his manager looking on. He takes that one, misses low. 1-1 the count.
Well, as I mentioned, he's one of 5 outfielders they brought in that are all left-handed hitters. They're all very similar. You almost could sense that Jerry Dipoto was saying, we need that fifth outfielder, that guy that can be down in AAA, that can come up, and when he comes up, he gives Scioscia a left-handed bat.
Shuck puts that one on the ground. The play is made by McDade, the first baseman. Just beats the streaking Shuck to the bag. He took it himself, even though heading over to cover was Langwell. So 3 unassisted. That's what you were hoping for a batter ago.
It was, and that is why it's so important, especially first pitch swinging from Luis Rodriguez there. You have got to get a pitch you know you can get the head of the bat out on and make it a productive out if you don't get a hit.
So now with the runner at third, top of the 8th inning, scoreless ball game. 2 outs. Luis Jimenez with an opportunity, the 24-year-old Dominican native. His first at bat of the contest, hit over 300 at Salt Lake last year with big home run numbers as well.
Well, he's been a proven RBI guy the last couple years in the minor leagues. He's got a big ceiling ahead of him. He's going to be playing in the big leagues sometime soon. Maybe in this organization, maybe another. Knows how to drive the ball, drive runs in. He's got a nice setup at the plate.
And he takes outside, 2-0 the count on a fastball that misses from Langwell. Go ahead run for the Angels is at third. Even with the bag at third is Rollinger, the new third baseman for the Indians. Now he'll step back a little bit on a 2-0 count, and it's outside. 3-0 the count.
Took a peek down at Dino Ebel and looked to see if he had the green light. Not sure he's going to give him the green light with the lefty on deck.
3-0. He was taken all the way, and it missed low ball 4. So a nice at bat. Did not have the green light, as you mentioned. And now Trent Olchen with a chance. His first at bat. And we'll get a visit out to the mound. The Indians talk over this situation now with a couple of runners on.
Possibly talking about a first and third double steal. 2 outs. Anything could happen right here. Trying to get a run in. 0-0 game in the top of the 8th inning. Haven't had many base runners today.
Mickey Callaway has completed his visit. The pitching coach, they're done talking about it. Olchen, a pretty well-traveled minor leaguer. And certainly has had his cups of coffee with the Dodgers, with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Spent last year in the minor leagues for the Dodgers in Albuquerque. Hit 13 home runs. From Sydney, Australia, Trent Olchen. And first pitch swinging a mile-high, foul territory, first base line. McDade toward the stand, stays with it, and he makes the play for the out. So the first baseman headed into foul territory, and he hauls it in, and Langwell gets out of the mess, and the Angels come up empty. To the bottom of the 8th we go. This game remains scoreless. Angels and Indians on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. things off. Cord Phelps will follow him. Tim Salmon and Darren Sutton, glad to be with you. Having the honor of sitting in for Terry Smith as he gets those vocal cords better, battling the flu. Jerome Williams is still out there. He goes back to work, and the fastball is over the inside corner for strike one. It's been Weaver for 4 scoreless with 6 strikeouts. Williams behind him, 3 scoreless with 3 strikeouts. So a 2-man show today, and the fastball has a check swing, but he went around trying to check his swing. So Ryan Rayburn, 2 good fastballs in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Nice sinker from Jerome there. As you mentioned, Socha let him go out there for his fourth inning of work.
Good 0-2 fastball in on the hands is fouled off. We'll do it again.
Even though Jerome Williams doesn't figure in the starting rotation, Socha still has to treat him like a starter because he knows the value he brings as that spot starter and that long middle relief guy.
0-2 slider, locked him up. It's strike 3. He actually tipped it in trying to check his swing, and it went into the catcher's mitt. John Hester held on. Not so sure about that call as Ryan Rayburn, but he is done, according to Jonathan Sapphire, home plate umpire.
Couple 2-seamers inside, got under his bat, and then he threw him a nice tight slider on the inside part of the plate that just broke enough to catch the inside part of the strike zone.
Cord Phelps, Mike McDade now has hopped out, and he came on to play first, and he waits on deck. Left-handed hitter Cord Phelps on the ground, base hit right field. Cheating out front, kept his hands back on a breaking ball, and back enough where Phelps in his first at bat picks up a single. So in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Indians have the go-ahead run on.
Well, once again, it's spring training, and sometimes as a pitcher, you're facing these names, and you don't know anything about them, and they're young, aggressive, and they're going to ambush you. And Jerome threw that little sinker out over the plate, left it up in the zone, and he was ready to hit it.
So now Mike McDade, who has really made a lot of noise this spring, 11 of 29, 16 total bases, 10 runs batted in. Last year in Double-A, hit 15 homers, ticked below 280. Big left-handed slugger. And he takes a fastball that misses outside. 1-0 the count. There's a lot of Mike McDade in that batter's box. I mean, it's just a big fella.
He is a big boy. Listed at 250.
Yeah, don't really know any other way to put it. An Indians waiver claim this past winter. The Blue Jays organization. Line drive center field. It's down for a base hit in front of J.B. Shuck. Williams tried to come in again. McDade, quite honestly, to the average size hitter, that's probably a broken bat and out, but strong enough to muscle it out there in the center field.
He did a very good job of keeping his hands inside the ball, but once again, that sinker just elevated a little bit more than he wanted to. You know, this is his 4th inning of work and trying to build some stamina in that arm. What happens when a pitcher starts to get tired? They leave pitches up in the zone.
Yan Gomes now called upon. Nashville, Tennessee native. Born in Sao Paulo, Brazil, actually. As he takes the first pitch, goes to work, and pops it foul. Into the seats, right side, late on a fastball.
This is that time of the game where you start playing in your substitutes, your extras, and they've been chomping at the bit for 7 or 8 innings. They're getting in that box and swinging. Don't be leaving anything out over the heart of the plate. Often this is the type of innings where you really want to start kind of maybe pitching backwards. Start them off speed a little bit.
It's a fastball. It's a foul ball. Hugging the third base line, just the other side of that third base bag. That would have given the Tribe the lead. Just foul by a matter of inches. Gomes, another one of those players that, as he waits to figure out where he fits in, he's helping make the decision for the Indians. He's 8 of 20 this spring with a homer and 6 RBIs. Terry Francona likes what he sees by both the man at first in McDade and now the man in the batter's box in Gomes. Big springs. Holds the bat real high up over his head. Chases in the dirt on 0-2, and down he goes on a breaking ball. So that is strike 3. Gomes goes down. So a big, big second out for the Angels.
Well, I always said in spring training, You can't throw a fastball by a hitter, especially a young hitter. That off-speed pitch is so valuable, but pitchers don't throw it as much because they're just really trying to establish their fastballs and start locating. And in the process of doing that, they're going to leave them out over the plate, and that's where you see a lot of these younger hitters really putting up good numbers in spring training because they're excited and ready to hit and getting fastballs over the heart of the plate.
Off-speed pitch hits Rollinger, the right-handed hitter. So he will trot to first. Phelps will trot to third. McDade will trot to second. That means after the hit batter, an off-speed pitch that he just lost control of, a curveball, that the bases are loaded with 2 outs. Almir Santos will now hit. And just a little bit more to deal with for Williams, as you were talking about. He's really been stretched out in this spring training situation here.
He has. Maybe getting a little fatigued, a little tired, not able to get up there on top of that curveball there. Let it slide out of his hand. That's all right. You got to work through that.
Base is full, 2 outs. Santos hits a high pop-up right behind home plate. Is there room for Hester? He heads back and he runs out of room. It's about 4 rows behind the backstop. So 0-1 the count, 2 outs, bases loaded. Scoreless ball game, Angels and Indians. Here at Goodyear Ballpark in Goodyear, Arizona. Again, a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Phelps, McDade, and Rollinger load the bases up.
Jerome needs to bear down right here and make one good last pitch.
Santos laid on a fastball, and it was off the facing of his dugout on a foul ball. So the count 0-2. Santos had some time last year with the Cleveland Indians, or check that, I should say the Detroit Tigers. He's hoping to have some time with the Cleveland Indians this year. Baltimore time in the big leagues as well. A well-traveled catcher. 31 years old, out of Puerto Rico. The 0-2 breaking ball misses outside. He didn't get a chase. 1-2 the count. 5,277 on hand. Our attendance this afternoon, 52-77. The 2 combatants ready to go. Santos against Williams, the 1-2. Fouled off another slider. That one got a lot of the plate. And we'll do it again. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, make no mistake, Jerome has made some pitches out over the heart of the plate today, making a few more mistakes with it here in this inning. But typically when a sinker baller gets tired, that's when they throw more sinker balls, right?
You would hope. The 1-2, it's a breaking ball. It's strike 3. He went with the bender. It fooled Santos badly. Like it was dropped down an elevator shaft. That was fabulous. He left the bases loaded. He also struck out the side. To the 9th we go. We are scoreless. Angels and Indians on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. scoreless ball game. Angels and Indians. No runs, 6 hits, and no errors for both the visiting team and the home team, Angels and Indians. Preston Gilmet is the next hurler for the Cleveland Indians to go to work. It's been Kazmir, Smith, Matsusaka, who left with an injury. We still haven't found out what that is for Daisuke. Langwell came on out of the bullpen, and now Preston Gilmet, Double-A, making the jump at least to big league camp. Had a great year in Double-A last year. And Efren Navarro is the first Angel to hit. We've sent Tim Salmon down to the field. He will handle our post-game duties. My name is Darren Sutton, in for Terry Smith today. Terry resting those vocal cords as he battles back from a cold and flu. I would imagine in a couple of days after an Angels off day, you'll hear him back on the airwaves. First pitch is a fastball at his high to Navarro, the left-handed hitter. Efren last year hit .294 in AAA Salt Lake. 74 runs batted in. Born in Las Vegas, grew up in the Las Vegas area. As a matter of fact, went to UNLV. Was an Angels 5th round pick back in 2007. And a big opportunity for Navarro here. You get a lot of late game situations when these teams go to the bullpen. As the 1-1 pitch, as a breaking ball popped up, third base side. Fighting the sun is Rolliger. He's 2 steps onto the outfield grass, and the third baseman is there under it, and he makes the play for the out. Fans, Friday night music garden concerts are back for another year of great performances. Every Friday night home game throughout the season, the Big A hosts live musical performances pregame style from local bands in the Gate 1 Music Garden. For more info and to submit recordings, visit angels.com/band, angels.com/band. Breaking ball and strike 1 to John Hester. Stanford product, as Salmon told you about, trying to earn a spot on Mike Scioscia's catching crew as he takes a fastball high. 1-1 the count. He looks the part, John Hester. If you walk up on him, he is a big fella. Breaking ball, it was hung and it's popped up back behind home plate. That'll end up in the seats. Well, if I'm not mistaken, Hester's first big league hit was a home run a couple of years back for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2009. Georgia Alpharetta, Georgia born and raised. And as we mentioned, went to Stanford. Played the College World Series for Stanford. The 1-2 is a curveball. Nice take from the right-handed hitter. But he looks the part. Broad-shouldered. That All-American look. 6'4", 230 pounds. And has come along as a catcher. The 2-2 to Hester. Fastball. Strike 3 over the outside corner. Got him looking. Gill met with a beautiful pitch that hit the outside part of the plate. Hester had seen some good breaking balls, but that one right at the knees, maybe a tick below, frozen. And Gill met a couple of quick outs. So Cole Calhoun, the lone combatant to survive from the beginning of this game, probably dying for this last at bat because he's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. 1-0 as the pitch misses outside. Cole Calhoun, a sinking fastball. If you know Calhoun and you talk with his Angels mates throughout their time with him, or his ASU mates here in town collegially, as the 1-0 pitch is a high pop-up, shallow center field. Hunter comes in. Hernandez, the shortstop, goes back. It's the center fielder, Cedric Hunter, who puts it away. More thoughts on Calhoun as we'll see how long we'll be here. We roll along to the bottom half of the 9th inning. We are scoreless. Angels, Indians on the Angels Baseball Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom half of the ninth inning, Angels and Indians a scoreless ball game. Jerome Williams back out there to go to work, right-handed hurler. No runs, 6 hits, no errors, both teams. First pitch swinging, line to left field. That's Tyler Holt. Came on to be a pinch runner a couple of innings ago. He is on with a base hit. This is, no matter the result of this inning, the final inning of the contest. And it will come to an end either scoreless, Angels nothing, Indians nothing, or with the Indians with the victory. Obviously, Mike Scioscia would love to see Williams out there throw up another 0. Williams has been an interesting story as Luis Hernandez now gets the opportunity. Because although Mike brought some younger pitchers from his roster and from his minor league camp, he has had Williams out there for 4 innings now as he works in his 5th inning. Jared Weaver went 4 shutout innings, struck out 6. Williams with 4 shutout, also striking out 6. And he looks the runner back. Nothing doing there with Holt, who gets this inning started with a single. Darren Sutton, glad to be back with you. We've sent Tim Salmon down to the field for his post-game assignment. I'm in for Terry Smith, resting those vocal cords, looking for a bunt, charging at third. Nothing doing as that one misses outside Luis Hernandez, 1-0. Luis Jimenez at third looks into the Angels dugout. Meantime, a set of signs being flashed from the Cleveland Indians as well. Brad Mills with his signs. So the chess game is on. Keeping an eye on Jimenez. He's thinking bunt. 2 steps onto the grass, still creeping in. And a pickoff throw instead. Navarro pops the tag down on Tyler Holt. Both pitchers, starting pitchers, talking about Weaver and Kazmir, former Angel Scott Kazmir, had their jams, and both made some great pitches to get out of messes. Very consequential for Kazmir as he tries to make the Indians squad. After playing independent league baseball a season ago, Williams again steps off, and Holt scampers back to the bag. All parties wearing red down there are excited for tomorrow because tomorrow is an off day. And I include all parties. Even people wearing red up here in the booth, the hardworking support staff of Angels baseball. A true off day, so a good day for the Angels tomorrow. Fastball misses outside. 2-0 the count. Salmon pointed it out earlier when Tim Salmon was up here about Williams and his comfort with a talented base runner at first. Still kind of on the in-between with the slide step or lifting the leg and going home. Makes a huge difference in that decision if that's the winning run at first. And he's missed twice because of it. The 2-0 gets it home. It is a late call of the strike on a pitch that looked to be high and away. So the count is 2-1. Bottom half of the ninth inning, scoreless ball game. Nobody out. Winning run for the Indians is at first in the form of Tyler Holt. Creeping in still at third is Jimenez. Really, as another pickoff throw drives the runner back at first, there really has been no indication at all that Luis Hernandez will lay down a bunt. It's funny, between innings you could see Brad Mills serving as a messenger for Terry Francona. Stop by and talk to Mike Scioscia. The two of them made the decision that, hey, let's go ahead and call it no matter the result after this half inning. Stepping off, still concerned with that runner at first, who goes scampering back. Tyler Holt is Williams. Williams with a smile on his face because he's hearing it from the crowd. Good crowd today of more than 5,000 here. A majority of them wearing red. Angels fans, because as you know, Goodyear is actually in Riverside County, California. It's that easy of a drive. Williams comes set, the runner goes. It's swung on, a high fly to center field. Easy chance out there for Shuck, well shy of the track. So that is that. And he had a nice big jump to Tyler Holt. So now Hunter, Cedric Hunter with the chance. Two teams with very different expectations this year. The Angels must get back to the playoffs. We know how fans and management and manager feels, Mike Scioscia. The Indians trying to revive some excitement in the Midwest. Line drive, base hit, right field. Hunter puts it down. Holton fires it back in where Holt will head to third. It's cut off by the shortstop. A base hit there for Hunter. Picked on a pitch inside. He was ready for it. For the Indians, runners on first and third. One out. The winning run at third in the form of Tyler Holt. He tried to come in. Really got it there. Looked like he got it there, but ready for it on a breaking ball down and in. Whacking it was Hunter. Mike Scioscia making the walk out, and he may be making a call to the bullpen. We'll see. I think he had Ben Fritz warming up out there. Again, a lot of pitches thrown by Williams as he stretches himself out as a utility pitcher. We also know Mike Scioscia enough in covering, following, and being a fan of wherever you fit into Angels baseball is no one is more creative. When that go-ahead run is at third and there are fewer than two outs, in either employing a fifth infielder, which Mike has done very regularly, and he may be doing it now. He has a couple of outfielders spreading out there. He may be employing the fifth infielder, which is one of Mike's favorites. And it looks like that'll be the case. So that fifth infielder looks like it's Tommy Field in there. Ulcher remains out there in right. Shuck remains out there as kind of the left center fielder. There are two outfielders now. And Tommy Field has come on in place of Matt Young. Five infielders for Scioscia. Ryan Rayburn, right-handed hitter. Runners are on first and third, and they'll go ahead and attack instead of load the bases up. First pitch inside, 1-0 the count. Cord Phelps waits on deck. One of the other options in this situation. Again, Mike Scioscia has five infielders employed right now. Jimenez, Harris, Rodriguez, Navarro, as well as Tommy Field. The 1-0, the runner goes. It's a pitch, no throw, no chance, and it's a stolen base. The pitch is high, by the way. And so the count is 2-0. I wonder if you go ahead and just put them on now. With no force out anywhere, let's see if they go ahead and just put them on. Hester takes a long look into that dugout. Scioscia gives his marching orders, and for the catcher, they're going to go ahead and go to work. Let's see. Runners on second and third. Williams pitches, hot shot, it's gloved at third. They fire home to Hester. Jimenez and Hester work on the rundown. Williams comes in to help out. He applies the tag. He is out at home plate as Holt. Ah, that crafty Mike Scioscia, just when you think for sure you should make a move and put in that bases loaded situation, walk him loaded, he says, that's all right, we'll go get him. It was a one-hopper to the third baseman, Jimenez. He quickly fired it home to Hester. Hester then chased back to Jimenez. Jimenez caught the baseball, chasing Holt home, who gave it to Williams, the pitcher, who was covering. 5-2, 5-1 on the putout at the plate. And so now Scioscia goes to work with another move. Out of the game comes Field. Scott Cousins goes out. Scott Cousins is the new left fielder. And there you have it. Mr. Cousins is out there. Reaching on a fielder's choice is Rayburn. Moving up to third is Hunter. 5-2, 5-1 on the putout. So runners are on first and third. It's the bottom half of the ninth inning for the Indians. And the left-handed hitting Cord Phelps is up. There are two outs. Cousins is in left. The runner takes off. They're not holding him. He moves up to second. It's a called strike. So Ryan Rayburn moves up. No stolen base there. And if you're concerned about that ruling, we'll talk later. 0-1 the count. Goodyear Ballpark. Williams fires it home. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And for a decade now, we have enjoyed and learned and loved watching Mike Scioscia bring a different style of baseball to the American League, and the strategy that he likes to employ defensively as well. Simply put, it sent many an assistant coach, better said bench coach, and right-hand man to a Major League Manager's seat as well. Fun to watch him work. The 1-1 broke his bat. It's a ground ball to Rodriguez at second. He will make the play. And Mike Scioscia and his boys clapped their hands. Obviously, they would have loved to have done more offensively, but defensively with a little bit of fun there. And you know what? A big win because you get 4 shutout innings out of Weaver, 5 shutout innings out of Williams. Spectacular for a final score of the Angels nothing and the Indians nothing. For the Angels, no runs, 6 hits, and no errors. For the Indians, no runs, 6 hits, and no errors. Certainly, that's the big story. The other story for the Cleveland Indians is Scott Kazmir, a man on the comeback trail. He went 4 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, and he walked 1 and struck out 4. So for the Angels, certainly a fabulous afternoon, and in an afternoon in which, if you're enjoying pitching, that's what makes it fabulous for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The Angels will also enjoy an off day tomorrow, which I think physically and mentally is a good day for everyone involved. And some good things we saw offensively for the Angels as well. But not enough in the end to get things done with some big runs on the ball game. All right, let's head down to the field. Some fun at the end, employing some great strategy. Standing by with Angels manager Mike Scioscia, here is Kent French.
Darren, thank you very much. Mike, whether it's the regular season or it's spring training, it's all about execution, getting your guys ready for game-time situations with the 5-man in the infield.
Yeah, I mean, it worked there. Lucci at third base made a great play. You know, and it's nice to at least get out with a tie when they have the winning run at third base. A lot of good things today, particularly on the mound. We didn't swing the bats very well, but we did a good job defensively and on the mound.
Yeah, let's get to that with Jared Weaver. First of all, 4 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. What impressed you the most about the way he threw?
Well, first of all, he had his changeup working early in the game, and he wanted to work on it. It was terrific. Located his fastball well, moves the break him all around, did what he needed to do.
And Jerome Williams, a guy that can give you tremendous versatility when he's on. 5 innings, shutout baseball.
Great job by Jerome, and he needed it. I think it's a big confidence boost for him. He's the first guy to get really through 5 innings, and there's no doubt he's on our depth chart as a starter.
Finally, Mike, a lot of your starters or your would-be starters play deep into this ball game. How important is it, just 18 games in the spring, to let them see game-time action as much as they can?
Well, for these guys, there's a lot of ball left. We have tomorrow off, so they got deep into today's game. They'll regroup tomorrow and be ready to go after that. And then hopefully get out, 3 or 4 in a row and get ready for the season. We have time left, though, and a lot of guys are starting to get their legs under them, so we'll be able to do more things offensively.
Mike, appreciate the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Darren, let's send it back up to you.
Good stuff. Thank you, Ken. Once again, the final score. No score, really, from Goodyear Ballpark. Angels and Indians, 0-0. For those of you watching on television, Tim Salmon and Ken French have a lot more post-game analysis. And on the radio, we'll have more from Goodyear. This is the Angels Baseball Network, and this is Fox Sports West.